This is Gio Woodley, the in-arena voice of the NBA G League's Osceola Magic, and you're listening to a presentation of Shreveport Mudbugs hockey. It's almost time to drop the puck. Let's send it ringside for the Landers Auto Group pregame show with the voice of the Mudbugs, Zach Grant.
Do or do not, there is no try. Those are the long-standing words of the great Jedi Master Yoda. And tonight, the Bugs return home to George's Pond, looking to do their own striking back against the Lone Star Brahmas. It's do or die time as they host Game 3 of the Best of 5 South Division semifinals. Bugs and Brahmas set to do battle at 7-11 here this evening. Good evening, everybody. This is the voice of the Mudbugs, Zach Grant, from our perch high above the ice surface at George's Pond, saying hello and a pleasant good evening wherever you may be, and welcome into another edition of Shreveport Mudbugs hockey. First things first, before we get to the hockey game tonight, let's set the table for tonight's matchup on the Mudbugs warm-up show. As always, driven by our friends at Landers, Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, Ram, and Fiat. Tonight, it's Game 3 of the South Division semis. There's a long playoff legacy between the Bugs and the Brahmas, dating all the way back to the WPHL. We'll continue and add some more chapters to that story. The trip to North Richland Hills was not kind to the Mudbugs last weekend, as they fell in the opening two games by scores of 4-1 in Game 1 and 5-1 in Game 2. On Friday night, the Bugs were outshot 13-5 in the opening frame, but escaped the opening 20 minutes, down by only a goal. Duke Earhart responded in the opening 2 minutes of the middle frame to tie it up, before the Brahmas unleash a barrage on Ethan Phillips in net, scoring 3 unanswered down the stretch. On Saturday, the Bugs were the ones who hit the ground running out of the gate, scoring first in that opening period, but the Brahmas eventually responded with 5 straight, including 3 goals in the second period to take Game 2 and jump out to a 2-0 series lead. That's how things transpired last weekend on the road, but tonight is a new night. The Bugs look to exact revenge using the home crowd as a catapult and forcing another night of hockey at George's Pond. We're just getting started on the warm-up show tonight. We'll hear from Bugs goalie coach Rich Perrant in our coaches conversation. That comes your way next here on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Hey Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata and Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata and Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case, or visit them online at defatapi.com.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Fireplace Specialties is a proud corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs hockey. Fireplace gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mantled and grills, they've got it all. They're located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport, or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Once again, that's fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties is your fireplace headquarters.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill, because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This is Mitchell Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
All right, counting down now to game number 3 in the South Division semifinals, sitting down with a new face tonight. Bugs goalie coach Rich Perrant. Rich, glad to have you join us here. So, tough weekend last weekend for the Bugs.
Yes, definitely was a tough weekend. Obviously, we wanted a lot better outcome. Coming off the Corpus series and coming in, we thought we would be riding a little bit higher than we showed on Friday night, and played a bit better on Saturday, but nowhere near our full potential.
Now, we'll definitely talk about some highlights in a bit, but as you saw it from up high, kind of like the broadcast view, what areas jumped out at you last weekend in terms of things that the Bugs are going to need to clean up tonight?
Well, I think, I think it's been the message all week that, we need to compete more. And, Lone Star, they compete, they battle hard. We got to match that intensity and, let our skills show up after that.
Now, toward the end of the regular season, the Bugs' power play had really been on the up and up at 21%. Over their last 9 now, what do the Bugs have to do to get the power play working?
Well, I think we actually sometimes we just need to simplify. I think we're trying to do too much, whether it's individually or not on the same page. So we just need to simplify our things, make quicker passes, get shots through, rebounds, deflections, screens, and make their goalie's job a lot tougher than it has been on the power play.
Now, Duke Earhart, Grayson Gerhardt, that line, their names are separated by 1 letter. But they're inseparable on the ice. They've been step for step all season. Duke has 4 goals in his last 5 games, all of those with a Grayson assist. What makes that combo so special out there?
Well, I think they're 2 great players. And so, and it's been clicking for them. And but again, we're down 0-2 in the series. So as coaches in the coaches room, we're always trying to find that magic recipe to make something work and get other lines going. So we need to adapt, we need to adjust. But really 2 good players, and we need them at their best tonight.
Now it's time to investigate our opponents, brought to us by our friends at DeFata and Associates. Same opponent as last weekend, of course, as the series rolls on, but a change of venue and a change of kind of scenarios going on out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a series, it seems like it's been home ice advantage, so we need to carry that into this weekend here and, keep that home ice advantage, playing at home. So playing in front of our crowd, in front of our fans, that should give us, that extra juice that we actually really need at this point. So I'm looking forward to a really good game here from our guys tonight.
Now, you're a goaltending coach, so I already know what you're about to say to this one. But our friends at S&D Fire Protection, of course, would like to know whose fire we have to put out on the broadcast.
I would say first and foremost, it's Brady Cray. He's played well for them in the first 2 games. We need to challenge him a little bit more and make his night a little bit tougher. With screens, deflections, and rebounds, and get him uneasy a little bit. And I'm not saying that he's had 2 easy games, but we definitely need to put more and more pressure off of him, and and putting the puck behind the net in the net.
And lastly, before we let you go, here are our fireplace specialties question of the week. Who's been hot for the Bugs as of late?
Well, I mean, I guess everybody would realize, Duke Earhart has scored in both of our games, and and he's had a tremendous down the stretch at the end of the season too, playing well for us. So we need Duke tonight, and we were kind of joking around. Let's get a couple goals in one game instead of spreading them out. But Duke's been good, and he's had confidence, and he's finding the back of the net. So we need more of that tonight, and we're going to need other guys on our squad to kind of support him on that.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, Coach Rich. Good luck tonight.
Thank you, Zach.
Take a quick time out. Back in a moment here on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Did you know that Shreveport Regional Airport offers more daily flights than any other nearby airport? Daily flights to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas, Denver, and Houston means you're one stop from anywhere in the world. Make the short drive to Shreveport and start your vacation sooner.
Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
Get ready, Louisiana! Johnny's Pizza House is turning up the heat with our Sweet the Swamp Pizza. Packed with crawfish, shrimp, a taste of crab, andouille sausage, bell peppers, onions, jalapenos, and a blend of Cajun spices, all smothered in delicious mozzarella cheese. It's the perfect bite of the bayou and the perfect meal for any Cajun crave. Try our Cajun Flint or dive into a Sweet the Swamp Pizza bowl. A taste of Louisiana flavor is waiting on you. Let's share a slice today at Johnny's Pizza House.
Hey, Mudbug fans, if you're looking for the perfect spot for a birthday party, corporate event, school trip, or any other private outing, just call us at George's Pond here at Hirsch Coliseum at 318-636-7094 to book your event today. Once again, that's 318-636-7094 here at George's Pond inside Hirsch Coliseum.
This is Ramesses Tremblay, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Alrighty, back here in Shreveport, the tribute to George at George's Pond, playing here for what hopefully is not the last time this season as the Bugs face do or die here in game number 3. And as I mentioned in the open, we're going to summon Master Yoda tonight. There's do or do not, there is no try, as the Bugs got to strike back against the Brahmas here. The big bad purple and black empire as the Brahmas coming to town here. Game 3, they got 2-0 series lead. Bugs trying to stay alive, and well, they've got the George's Pond crowd on their side here tonight. Zach Green, Duncan Welker back here in the Landers warm-up show. Before we get to tonight's action, we've got to, as always, take a look at our Morrison DeWitt Injury Lawyers Injury Report and our starting lineups as we count it down. Bugs and Brahmas at 7-11 on this Friday.
Not only summon Master Yoda, Zach, summon Scott Musket, if you know, you know. But let's get you those Morrison DeWitt Injury Lawyers Injury Report. Once again, brought to you by our friends at Morrison DeWitt Injury Lawyers. No injury on the Bugs tonight. That's a good thing. However, one suspension. That's number 36, Joe Simango. He's serving a one-game suspension. Healthy scratch. Well, only one. Number 18, Gabriel Lopez Corsi. So, no injuries, just a suspension and a healthy scratch. Well, that's all for your Morrison DeWitt Injury Lawyers Injury Report. Now, let's get into those Whataburger starting lineups. Brought to you by our friends at Whataburger. Whataburger, just like you like it. Firstly, for these Lone Star Brahmas, at the left wing, number 10, Christian Ventusinque, taking the opening faceoff, and at center, number 15, Vladimir Sable. And at the right wing, number 7, Tyson Scanlon. At the left defense, number 24, Denver Dampoose. And at the right defense, number 72, Maddox Talacro. Getting the start in net tonight for the Lone Star Brahmas is number 35, Brady Craig. Of course, these Lone Star Brahmas are usually led by head coach Dan Wildfong. However, he is not here tonight due to the passing of his father. Told me and my dad as we were heading back to Shreveport. We at the Mudbugs here sent our well wishes to current Lone Star Brahmas head coach and Mudbug legend, number 10, Dan Wildfong, and the rest of his family. That being said, assistant coach is Logan Murphy, and their equipment manager is William Klein. Now for the Shreveport Mudbugs. At the left wing, number 9, Ryan Barrett, taking the opening faceoff, and at center, number 22, Charlie Birchfield. And at the right wing, number 24, William Alexis Tremblay. At the left defense, number 2, Mitchell Reed. And at the right defense, standing at 6'4", from Denver, Colorado, number 6, Remy Puzzateri. Once again, getting this started net tonight for the Bugs, number 35, the Rochester, New York native, and the Providence commit, number 35, Ethan Phillips. Of course, the Bugs are led by head coach Jason Subi Campbell, assistant coach is Brett Smith, honorary assistant coach is Chris Lane, goaltending coach to our right is Rich Perron, and of course, your Wellness Night athletic trainer is Hunter Robinson, and your head equipment manager is Billy T. Welker. Those are your Whataburger starting lineup for both the Lone Star Brahmas and your Shreveport Mudbugs. As the Brahmas now make their way out onto the ice, it's now time for the Billy T. Welker uniform description provided to us by head equipment manager Billy T. Welker. The Brahmas are in their black third jerseys with the NAHL era Brahma on the front, stars on the shoulder caps, white numbers and white nameplates, NAHL era Brahma gold on the helmet. For the Bugs, they are in their whites tonight with the Bugs going across the chest, and it's B Claw in place of the UGS with the fleur-de-lis on the bottom of the jersey. Those are your uniform descriptions provided to us by head equipment manager Billy T. Welker. And speaking of that, to finish it fully, Bugs helmets tonight on the stickers is the B Claw UGS with the NAHL logo on the left and the Mudbug Claw on the right. Now, those are your in full uniform descriptions for tonight's contest, provided to us by head of equipment manager Billy T. Welker. All right, I think we just got about everything almost ready. The video's wrapping up here, and you know, Zach, every time I see these Lone Star Brahmas, I always think to myself, what team's going to show up tonight? And I say that because although it's the regular season, yes, it was the regular season rather, the Bugs took it to them, especially here at home. Minus the 2 games, and the one was off a really weird bounce right behind the net. I mean, the Bugs had a good record against the Brahmas here at home inside Georgia's Pond at Hertz Coliseum as the Bugs now make their way down the Gemco hometown tunnel. But again, it's also, in saying that, it's also going to be a matter of which Bugs team show up tonight. But that being said, Zach, I'm excited. These Georgia's Pond fans are excited. They got the rally towels waving, which, by the way, if you know me, I'm a big fan of rally towels, terrible towel in particular, but that's another story for another time. As the Bugs have now made their way down the Gemco hometown tunnel, we'll send it all down to Robert J. Wright.
They mentioned what teams will show up tonight. The Brahmas came out firing at home. I'm not sure some of the Bugs made the trip to Lone Star last weekend. That was probably the worst 2 games the Bugs have played all season, but they're back at home in front of Mudbugs Nation. Here's Robert J. Wright with tonight's starting lineups ringside.
Bugs fans, time once again to raise the roof and start with the right team. Tonight's Mudbugs by Roofing starting lineup. And forward from Nashville, Tennessee, number 9, Ryan Bears. Forward from Brighton, Michigan, number 22, Charlie Birchfield. And forward from Three Rivers, Quebec, number 24, William Alexis Tremblay. Feds from Vandalia, Ohio, number 2, Mitchell Reed. From Denver, Colorado, number 6, Remy Usadari. And tonight, between the Hawks, from Rochester, New York, number 35, Ethan Miller. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with heavy hearts that your Mudbugs pay respects to the 8 victims taken from our community last Sunday. Jayla Elkins, Shayla Elkins, Kayla Pugh, Layla Pugh, Markaden Pugh, Soraya Snow, Kadarian Snow, and Braylon Snow. Please join your Mudbugs in a moment of reflection as we honor these 8 children and pray for peaceful hearts for their families. Ladies and gentlemen, time once again to show everyone in the North American Hockey League and beyond that we Bugs fans are undoubtedly the most patriotic to be found. A few simple requests. Please stand, remove your caps and hats, and join in the singing of this evening's national anthem. Please welcome back to George's Pond, Avery Lewis.
wrapping up here at Shreveport, and just about time for some Friday night playoff hockey. It's game 3 of the South Division semifinals. Brahmas took the first two. North Richland Hills had the home ice advantage working, and the Bugs look to have their home ice advantage working here this evening at George's Pond. Zach Rand, Duncan Welker back with you again, ready to go here in game number 3. We've got the ceremonial puck drops happening in center ice in just a moment. Talacro and Jonah Chasser stand awaiting them. And we got to look at tonight, Duncan. Last weekend was an interesting story. The Mudbugs played 6 periods of hockey. 4 of them were really great periods of hockey. It was really 1 period of each game. The second period in game 2 being outshot 12-2, and then being outshot 15-3 in the first period of game 1. That was really the difference in the 2 games.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Sorry about that. It just seems like the Bugs want to take it period by period, but there's a good and a bad to that. Don't get me wrong. Taking it period by period can work if you're in a tight game against a team like this. But the problem is you have to stay on top of them every period by period. You can't let up. The Bugs let up in those respective periods, as you mentioned, on Friday and Saturday night. But you know what? It's in the past. We're here at George's Pond inside Hearst Coliseum. Personally, I think the best place to be. And I mean, the good news is, hey, guess what? We're not on top of each other. Up in the press box there.
The other thing, too, Duncan, is the Bugs are going to have to find a way to get the puck past Brady Craig. We talked with Vince Ron about it. Solid in both games.
Yep, absolutely. Boys up on their feet. Charlie Birchfield on the draw. Signals thrown around. And Zach, I'm excited. Let's get her going, brother. Hey, yeah.
It's game 3. We're off and rolling on this Friday night. Glad to have you tune in with us. Bugs and Brahmas in the South Division semifinal. These days go all the way back to the WPHL. Who would have it any other way? As the Brahmas bring it in at Sable, just barely onside, takes a hit, gets knocked down. The Bugs are going to be shorthanded in the opening 20 seconds of the hockey game. As Dawson Black down there in the far corner has his arm up. He's going to call a penalty on the hit on Sable coming into the zone. So cross-checking the call and an early penalty, and it's Charlie Birchfield going to the box. And not that we want to harp too much on last week, but Charlie on Saturday sat in the box 3 times against the Brahmas, and they scored on all 3 power plays that he was penalized for.
Absolutely, that's the thing. That's the other thing, keeping the tempo, keeping the composure and calmness. And I mean, the 2 minutes being thrown up on the board early like that, not something you want to see. But that being said, it's first choice personnel penalty kill, although a stumble last week, still pretty good otherwise considering things.
Clearing attempt held in by Dan Booth at the left point for McFadden, top of the left circle. Wraps it around the boards, picked up by Evan Adams now. So checking from behind is the call. Wolf Tomby's got the puck, and he lifts it back out to center ice and all the way as it tumbles down into the Lone Star end. And Dan Booth will carry it behind the cage. Almost 40 seconds. Got it. It's one of the earliest penalties I've seen in a while. Birchfield sits for 2. One of the top power play units of the North American Hockey League goes to work for the Lone Star Brahmas as Dan Poos will bring it in over the line, but immediately the Bugs will backhand it out. Now, we talked about in the pregame the Bugs power play struggles of their last 9, but their penalty kill last week actually did pretty well, 5 of 8 against Lone Star. So they got to keep that unit working as McFadden will carry it ahead to center, and it's stolen away, and Remy will rifle it back. Glove down by Grinder to get it back into the zone, but eventually controlled by Dan Poos again. Along the left side boards up to neutral ice, Revette to Sinkway. Backhanded in, Mitchell Reed picks up the loose puck, far wall, goes across for Remy, gets a shot on his own goaltender that time. Remy gets it back and floats it towards the blue line, but not out. Scanlon pinches and holds in, bats it down into the corner. Now it's played at the top of the circle for Mitchell Reed. He banks it off the boards and gets it clear all the way down.
Oh, and that's a good thing, although a dangerous opportunity right there in front of Ethan Phillips. That's the other thing that I think a lot of people want to focus on in this game for the Bugs, especially the Bugs need to focus on it. Limiting those dangerous turnovers, especially when shorthanded, though. 30 seconds still, though.
So it's carried into the zone by Talacro. It's lined up the wall for Lexell. Lexell drops it up for Sable. He had 6 points in that opening weekend against the Bucks. Got it right circle, back up top now. Talacro toes the blue line, swings it off to left for Lexell, back up top for Maddox. Now Lexell gets it, feeds it across ice for Sable in the slot. Poked away from mid center, goes on net, and Phillips wisely pounces on top of it for a whistle. So Ethan Phillips, his last start was the forward loss in game 1, but He was solid before then, had won 6 of his last 7 starts in the regular season, and he's been a big backbone for the Buck, the .957 save percentage for him.
Absolutely. I think having a really good goaltender like that in Ethan Phillips definitely eases a lot of things, especially some of the more dangerous turnovers that the Bucks have created. Not only in this game, there's only been about 2, but that being said, in a lot of other games, dangerous turnovers as we dump it all the way down the ice. And Zach, I think that's going to kill that penalty.
It does. Another successful kill. 6 of their last 9 now. Birchfield out of the box as Murray carries the puck through center. Dumps it in. Lander Poloni's going to win a race to it as Birchfield knocks him down. Poloni gets it back at the far wall, backhands along the boards. Charlie picks up behind his netminder, Ethan Phillips. Swings off to the right side. He brings it up the boards near side. Now he's hit as he dumps it in from center. Brady Cray gets the first touch on it. Brady Cray kind of saw him more of a backup role in the regular season. He got both starts and made some nice saves, holding the Bucks to just 2 goals in the opening 2 games of the series. Backhanded in front, goes through the blue paint. Roberts from an off angle, led around the end wall, and then Grayson going out for a change. He's shaken up there as he gingerly skates to the bench. The puck went right to him. But now the Bucks going to have to chase it all the way back down. Poloni gets his feet taken out from under him. Puck bounces free, and it's eventually controlled by Lone Star. Tavares can't save it at the blue line, goes back out to center, chips it in as if Brahmas have to tag back up, and the linesman's going to blow the whistles because Tavares went all the way down to the circles. Neutral zone drop coming. 16:49 left in this opening first period, presented as always by Advanced Air Conditioning and Heating, offering installations, repairs, and maintenance for homes and businesses in the area. Log on to advancedac.com. That's advancedac.com as Evan Hoagland will go down to an E and win the draw back into the Bug zone. So it's controlled at the right circle by Remy Pusateri. The Bugs in the white tops and the black pants. And now it's overskated by Mitchell Reed. He's got to save it. I don't think he was expecting that pass to come back to him in the zone, but he's got it behind Phillips. Off to the left to the far half wall. Carried ahead by Jonah Jasser. Snaps it across for Remy, and he sends a high fly ball well into the seats and out of play for his stop at 16:25. He sent that a long way over the net.
Good news is everybody's okay over there, and I believe that's section O. Yes, it is. It is over there in section O. Everybody's okay. That's the good thing, and the faceoff will go to neutral draw.
So the long fly ball, but now the puck comes back out to center ice. Looks like Vinny Giulio's out there to take the draw. He's had a solid season for the Bucks as well. His last points dating back, though, a couple of weeks to Amarillo, the last weekend of the regular season. So we'd love to see him get on the board against the Brahmas as Brady Cray will track it down. Slides it across the half wall far side. Vetasinque knocked off the puck by Remy, who just kind of angled him there. Didn't really throw the body into him, but the Brahmas will play it back out to center ice. It comes. Vetasinque through the middle logo, picks up speed. Around to his right, drops it off to Lockrow. Talacro to the top of the right circle. Fired one that got deflected. And everybody thought it came out. The referee say it stays in. Up top for Sable. High slot. Snaps it to the right for Talacro. Talacro down to the goal line. Spins off a check. Works back up top now. Drops it off for Sable. And it's poked back out to center by the Bugs as they just barely got enough. I think that was Simons who deflected that back into the Brahmas zone. But quickly, Lone Star back up and here's Sable. Left side. Works below the goal line. Swings it out in front. Stolen away by Evan Adams. What a great defensive player he's become as well as he snaps it across an open ice for Willie Tremblay, who gets the first touch on it. Shoved on the boards that time by Oliver. Bounces below the goal line once more. Picked up by the Brahmas as Jackson Bates picks up the loose puck and he plays it to sit forward to center. Goes off his stick and into the Bug zone. Picked up by Evan Adams. Adams behind the cage. Lots of fans for both teams in attendance this weekend. You've got to love the geography of this matchup. Not too only about 3-hour drive apart, so many Bucks fans made the trip, and the Brahmas reciprocating. Here is a nice move that time by Scalen. Splits it. He takes a shot. Stopped by Phillip. Owen Case wraps it off the boards back out to center. Dampoose does not let it go past the red line, but now he works around 2 defenders. That's Tremblay. Slides up the wall for Jackson Bates. Slowly and over the line. Left side. Sends it down low for Owen Case to pick it back up. Tries to spin off a check. That's McFadden. Now it bounces near side. Charlie Birchfield will track it down on the near side circle. Knocked off the puck, but he fed it back for Evan Adams. Adams works it far side for Owen Case. Case's outlet pass is batted down to center ice. Goes to the stick of Willie Tremblay. Feeds it across for Birchfield. He was going off for a change. And the Brahmas send it into the zone. Just wide of Phillips as he tried to grab it with his stick. Contact along the near side wall. McFadden throws it to the middle. Bucks force the turnover. Owen Case swings it off to the left for Earhart. Down back across for Evan Adams now. We talked as that one goes back out to center ice again. And the Bugs, just like we saw in times in Lone Star, can't get across the red line. There's Lucier with a drive. Goes over the glove of Phillips and whistles over top the crossbar that time. Goes off the board. Then it's played now by the Bugs to center ice. It's Hoagland. Skates with it, dumps it in from the right point. That shot turned aside. Jasser gets a one-time rebound, blasted off of Cray. Skate that time. Throw it out in front. Hoagland, point blank range. Scramble for it. Loose to the blue pane. It bounces far side. Cray keeps it out. Jasser keeps the play alive, though. Hoagland in the slot. Battles two Brahmas with it. Bounces up to the wall for Jasser. To the point for Burnt. Back for Jasser. Right circle. Trying to throw it across. Gets tipped. Goes off of the window far side. Bucks will track it back down. Doing a good job in the offensive zone. Here's Jasser. Cycles it up towards the middle. Hoagland trying to get the feed walking down Main Street. That's turned aside at Lucier. Kips it around. Poloni, they'll be in a battle for it. Dandar went to foot race. Works behind his own net. 13-15 and rolling here in the first period. Good pace to this one early on as the Brahmas will turn it back down. Head off for a change. Bugs will give chase, as does a lone Brahma that time, but John Burnt wraps it around the boards. All the way back to center. Adradine picks it up. Snaps it across D at the blue line for Alexander Oliver. Brought in over the Bugs blue line. That rifle shot pushed wide. Bounces up top to the left point. Held in by Lexell again. Sakrisky gets a touch on it. Now John Burnt up ahead for Sakrisky, and over the line is Robert. Robert snaps it across left wing. Couldn't hit Griner cleanly. He takes a little bit of contact as he chases it into the corner. Eventually tracked down by Nolan Wildfong. So Nolan in the lineup tonight. Although Dan is tending to some family matters. We wish him well and the whole Wildfong family. Here's Griner at the right circle. That one's poked aside. Picked up by Robert. Slid up the wall for Remy. Remy goes D at the blue line for Reed. Fires one. Nice glove stop, and we finally get a whistle with 12:24. But again, Duncan, just like we saw in Lone Star, when the Bucks get in the O zone, they're creating some good chances.
Yep. I mean, Zach, I'll be honest. That's the thing about this Bucks team. When they get going, and it is hard to stop. Now that being said, though, you know what's crazy is 12:24 left in this game, and there's only 6 total shots on goal. And I was going to mention earlier, there's only 1 shot on goal with 15. So, I mean, the defensive play has been pretty well so far, but obviously the offense is now starting to pick up just a little bit.
Simon's shot doesn't get to the net, gets it back along the far wall, though. Bucks with some great pressure in the offensive zone. That last possession, they kept it alive. Here's Vinny with a big drive. Paddle stopped that time by Gray. Feeds over to the far wall where Scanlon lifts it out of the zone. Goes bouncing off of the boards. Owen Cade's going to have to win a race to it as it never got to the circles. He does. Now spins off a check. He hits the brakes far side. Taps into open ice. Almost turned over as Vladimir Sabo was pinching, but Evan Adams eventually will skate across his own blue line. Back out to center ice. Uses his back as a shield. He carries it up the far side boards. Now intercepted, and now the Brahmas are going to push the tempo. O'Keefe feeds it ahead. And over the line. Down the slot, Scanlon. DeYulia harassing him. Still got a shot away. Just wanted to think of O'Keefe. Rebound. One-time drive for McFadden. That is stopped and held onto for a whistle with 11:34. That'll bring us to immediate timeout. Wow, we're rolling here tonight. No score. Bugs and Brahmas here in the first.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Hey, this is Mitchell Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Welker. Now let's get back to the action. Claws up.
Zach Grant, Duncan Welker back here. 11:34 left. Mudbugs hockey is always brought to you by friends at Sonic Drive-In. This is how we Sonic. Lots of shots, lots of defense, but nobody's broken on the scoreboard quite yet as the Mudbugs honor a former player who made it pretty cool NHL debut.
Oh, yeah. Arseny Sergiev going to the Calgary Flames. And by the way, he won that game too. 3-1. Love it.
But not only getting it done, making an appearance, but getting it done on the scoreboard. Salacro steals it away. Here's Isaacson down the middle. His drive. That's turned aside. Gets it back. Wraps around the end wall. He gives it over to his 17 counterpart Poloni as he plays it up to the Bugs blue line. Carried up ahead to center and then dumped in by Jonas Jasser. Gets around to check. Cray is way out of his net to play it. Almost to the corner. Now Isaacson pokes it along the end wall. Stolen away by Duke Earhart right at the Bugs blue line. Now John Burnt snaps it to the middle for Jasser. Kicks it with his right foot. Goes off of the window on a clear from Brady Cray. Back out to center ice. John Burnt picks up, and it goes off of Earhart's backside. It doesn't get into the zone. Now McFadden chips around one defender. Now give chase. Bugs win the race to it along the board. Grayson Gerhardt carries the puck up the near side boards, but it's intercepted. Stolen away at center. Capano turns it back the other way. Brahmas into the zone as they dump it in, give a chase. Remy battles off a couple of Brahmas that time. Pitchforks the puck along for John Burnt. Snaps it across far side for Sakriski. He's knocked down, but John Burnt will split the D and get it out to center. Beautiful pass through traffic. Up head to Roberts. Dances around one defender. Robert down the right side. Tried to center it. And a great poke check. Steals it aside of the wall for the Brahmas. Bugs had a great chance there as Roberts, first of all, how he even got that pass through traffic and then gets around the defenders. Capana will backhand it in. Brahmas have to tag back up. Remy goes D to D with Mitchell Reed. Toes the line, drops it back for Remy. Up the wall. It's played ahead by Roberts, but stolen away immediately. Brahmas trying to catch the Bugs on a change. Lucier couldn't get it past Mitchell Reed with a harassing poke check that time. Reed knocks the man down away for the play. Puck squirts behind the cage. Picked up for Evan Adams. Adams swings it across to the left. Up the boards, cross ice feet doesn't work as Lexell steals it away. Lexell down the left wing to the circle. Delayed call coming. The Bucks are going to go to another kill. But again, I think that one there, necessary penalty. You don't ever want to take penalties, but sometimes you can accept them, and that's one of those there.
Yep, that's just one of those necessary penalties. Don't get me wrong. You never want to see that, but yeah. So we'll go back on the first choice personnel penalty kill. By the way, Zach, while we were down there, Jeremiah Roberts, excellent effort. He had Grayson Gerhardt right there at the left doorstep, and I'll be honest, I wanted to see the pass. I mean, I get it. Don't get me wrong. You always want to try to be a little fancy, but I've said it a million times, and I'll say it a million more. This is not a team you can get fancy with. These Lone Star Brahmas are, but nonetheless, we're on the penalty kill.
So Bugs successful on their first try. Let's see if they can get another one shorthanded. Jackson Bates has the puck in the left corner. Feeds it off the side of the net. Phillips tried to cover, and he just does barely get a piece of it for a stoppage here 12 seconds into the kill for the Bugs with 9:34 left in the first.
Yeah, no, he covered it with the with the inside of the blocker. I do mean like the inside gloving almost of the blocker there. So good stuff from Ethan Phillips. But yeah.
So Vladimir Sable to take the draw on the 5'10", 185 forward. 2 goals, 4 assists in the opening weekend against the Bucks. And now Vinny DiUlio and Sable off of the draw, still battling as the puck goes all the way back down. Good clear by the Bugs. Penalty kill unit's been solid. It's a power play that needs, well, first to get a chance tonight and then hopefully get a goal. Here's Lexell, left side. Deked around one defender, couldn't get past the second. The Bugs angle it off the boards, but Talacro will step in front of it. Takes the puck into the chest and keeps it alive. Up top now again for Talacro. Slides it along the boards for Sable. Back for Maddox, the captain. Feeds it down low. Bugs intercepted and floated all the way down.
Just love to see this effort. And now Vinny DiUlio right there. Just whacking and hacking alongside the number 17 counterpart, Leo Isaacson. So I'll have to keep an eye on those two. Yeah.
Isaacson does. Right. Well, Vinny hasn't had a fight since my first game here. So no fights in Lone Star at all, for that matter.
Yeah, and you rarely see fights in playoffs. It's very, very rare. But that being said, it can happen. Hello.
That's true. That goes up into the bench. And really haven't seen a fight at all lately. I think the last one was against Lone Star. That was back in February with Mitchell Reed.
Yeah,
or Evan Adams.
Yeah, it was Evan Adams with the Cajun spiced left and right. And that was against Christian Ventacinque, by the way. That was a really good fight, too. I'll be honest, it looked a little even, but then right towards the end, Evan Adams got the upper hand. So.
Yeah, and it was funny because we were talking about it after the game. Those are 2 guys that aren't going to fight a lot. And after that fight, I'm sure Ventacinque probably won't be fighting, especially not against Evan Adams anytime soon. The Brahmas have it O-zone, another 37 seconds on the power play. Oliver snaps it across at the right circle, back for Oliver. On top of the left dot, slides up top, and Ventacinque whiffed on a one-timer, but it gets back for Oliver at the left point. Backpedals up towards the blue line. High slot, feeds it down low. McFadden got the tip, pushed it just wide of Phillips, and the Bugs slide up the wall, and Griner with a nice poke to get it out to center ice. So good play that time by Jared Griner in his second season with the Bugs. He's played in almost every game. He's got 3 goals in 5-game span a little bit earlier on in the season, as that's knocked down by Jonah Jasser back out to center, but the Brahmas do such a good job, another kill by the Bugs, of not letting you clear the puck all the way down.
Not a bad thing. Love to see it.
So 2 of 2 on the kill so far today. Najardine slides up the wall. Scanlon gets a piece of it. Dumped down. Icing washed out. Ethan Phillips leaves it off for Mitchell Reed. Up the wall for Charlie Birchfield. Birchfield dances to it right around one and pokes it back to center ice. And again, doesn't get across the ball. Blue line, and Lucier knocks down a man that time. Now it scores free. That was Remy back up to his feet quickly. Now through a little bit of contact, throws a screen. Tremblay snaps it across for Ryan Barrett. Down the left wing, trying to get around O'Keefe. Knocked off the puck, but he gets it back. Throws it on net through traffic. Somehow made its way to Brady Cray, who didn't see it. Now it's an odd man rush the other way. 89 in black, that's Murray. Down with a chance. That shot knocked aside by Phillips, and he gets run into. And Birchfield's not going to like that, although it looked like Poloni was the one who kind of caused that contact. But nonetheless, Charlie's sticking up for his guy. Ryan Barrett heads off for a change and is dumped back in. Great stop by Ethan Phillips, making the offensive player make the first move, just like Charlie Conway. Here's Tremblay with a shot just wide of the far post. Bounces up the far wall, Excel to the blue line, and the Brahmas will steer it back to center. Here's Dan Poose over the line. 3-player entry, and it's a late whistle, but offside. Stops the clock with 6:29.
Pulling the D3 references out, are we? No, I'm not gonna lie, I love that.
I think that was my favorite of the 3 movies, now that I think about it.
You know, this is going to be weird because it was a direct-to-video. I'm going to be honest, I like D. I like the second one. Now, granted,
The second one's good.
The second one's only good because, I'll be honest, it's international and it's not just, well, international to the last 3 seconds anyway. You get the idea.
I love that, too, because they play Team Iceland, who's the villain, and after my trip to Iceland, they're the nicest people on the earth, so.
Fair enough.
A little bit of Hollywood magic as Brady Cray was out of his net, and luckily it was saved, or luckily for the Brahmas, rather, it was saved out of play. So another Johnny's Pizza House puck out of play. Johnny's Pizza House. Let's share a slice of the best pizza in town.
Ooh, you aren't kidding there. Johnny's Pizza House. Love it. By the way, I think the Sweep the Swamp has unfortunately ended, but that being said, they have a lot of other specialty options, including the famous, and I do mean famous, Sweep the Kitchen stop. By the way, don't get me wrong, Zach. I love Freebird, don't get me wrong, but the techno remix is doing a little much here on ESPN during their playoff coverage, a little much. I love Freebird, always will, but the techno remix is a little much.
Gets a lot of mileage, that's for sure. As it's played over to the wall, the Brahmas control the puck in the D zone. It's O'Keefe, far side. Tries to play it up the wall, Venta Sinkway will feed it back for Liam, and O'Keefe's got to track it down, and Chase Sakriski's going to be pesky and steal the puck away at the blue line. Sent down behind the net, wrapped around the near sideboard. Sakriski again goes after the puck, but O'Keefe will steer it aside. Now the Bugs get it back for a moment in D zone as they try to feed it up the wall for Grayson Garrett. This one goes up into the bench and out of play. And yeah, talk about Grayson Gerhardt and Duke Earhart. In the playoffs alone, they both have 7 points. Johnny Burns got 6, but those 3 have been an incredible combo for the Bucks.
So, if it wasn't, so what you're saying is they're only a letter apart, or a few letters apart, but you know, it's like you say it better than I do. You said it better than I did.
1 letter apart and inseparable on the ice, except for tonight, because Soupy threw us a curveball. They're not on the same line, but nonetheless, making a big impact in the postseason as Jackson Vates will slide it into the Bug zone. Remy picks it back up along the near side circle, goes D to D far side. Bugs look to get on the board first here in a scoreless first period here in Game 3. 5:25 and rolling. Good pace to this one early on, although we've had a few whistles as of late. Bugs have been short-handed twice. There's the big end as Hoagland knocks a man down. Puck is slid up the wall for Earhart. Into the slot. Hoagland fired one just wide. Jasser's going to try to track down a rebound, but it bounces for Leo Isaacson, who just slides it all the way back into the Bugs end, but only to the circle. Bugs quickly back the other way. It's Duke with a great play to get in the zone. Duke dekes around one backhand shot. Cray didn't see it. It's under him. And he squeezes the pads together and holds on with 5 minutes to go in the first. But what a play by Duke Earhart to even get the puck. Then he danced around a defender and had a great scoring chance.
Oh, absolutely. Just able to wrangle and wraggle his way through the Brahmas defense. Still able to get the shot off. And I'll be honest, I get the feeling that if there was a guy there for the Bugs to help him, I'm not saying it would have led to a scoring opportunity, but I'm kind of saying that, I'll be honest. But still, on the other side of things, though, good smooshing of the pads there by Brady Cray. So.
Bugs win the offensive zone draw. It's Poloni down to the bottom of the right circle. Feeds it off the boards behind the cage for Birchfield. Spun off the puck. Tremblay gets it back, stolen away from him. Dampoose picks it up, slides it across the end wall that time. Far side now up the kick plate, and Dampoose will eventually retain possession behind his own net. Slides it across now for Capano. Jumps it back up to center ice. Lucier tried to play it forward. Bugs throw it away, and now we're going to get a hand pass called. The Bugs are the ones who had the puck.
Yeah, I don't get
that was
one either, yeah.
off whistle that time. I'm guessing it was just a delayed whistle from when the Brahmas played the hand pass, but nonetheless, that stops time 4.5.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, Zach, I don't get that one either. I mean, I get the rule, don't get me wrong, but I don't get the delay of call. And now Jason Tooby Campbell laying in to one of two orange men in the orange stripes black. So, I mean, a little weird delay there, but I get it, don't get me wrong, but just a little weird though.
And whatever it was caught on the Bugs because it's a Brahmas offensive zone draw. Okay, at the far circle. Knocked off the puck that time. Mark Bork, Dawson Black, the two referees on the crew tonight. So we got two new faces as Poloni slides it across far side. Up ahead for Simon. Simon carries it through the center logo. Now to the left side, dumps it, tried to hit the trailer DiUlio, but that one's turned aside. Vinny whacks after it and feeds it for Simon. Simons fires one down the left wing. That shot blasted wide. Adams tries to save it at the right point, just barely keeps it in before Talacro will kick it out to his stick to center ice. Talacro into the zone. Phillip tried to glove it out of midair, misplayed it, but eventually Evan Adams will track it down, goes D-to-D with it behind the cage. Bugs back out to center. Julio carries it ahead with a full head of steam. His shot there from the left point is turned aside by Cray, never got to him. The puck is now Nazardine gets knocked down, and a bug gets thrown onto the back of the net. And now the Brahmas will start it up ahead far side again. Sent across ice for Nazardine. At the left point, will rifle it in. It goes off the top of the dasher board. Deflects over to the far wall. Bugs pick it back up behind the cage. He'll cycle it out. Jeremiah Roberts leaves it off behind the net. And now it's played up the far side wall by the Bugs to center. Roberts will stick it down on top of the red line and send it all the way back in. Goes behind the net now for Alexander Oliver in his own zone. Wraps it around the board. Takes a weird hop, and the Bugs get to it. The offensive zone, Roberts being harassed by Sable, and the puck comes back out to center ice. Here's Ventusukwe. Down the far side wing. Walks in over the line. His shot turned aside. Goes off the back of the net. Sable tries to save the rebound, but the Bugs will slide it over to the board. Held in by Scanlon. Scanlon to the right circle. Ventusukwe back up top for Scanlon. He can't corral it cleanly. Sakrisky throws him down as Scanlon's got the height advantage on Chase, who stands in 5'6", but he knocked him down in the corner. Brahms of the puck. Here's Nazardine at the blue line. Shot through traffic. Blasted wide. Reed picks up the loose puck. Slides it gingerly along the board. Held in by Dampoose for a bump. Then he carries it out on his own volition. That time to center ice. Now it's going to be controlled by Chase Sakrisky for a moment. He's had a good shift defensively. Now it's carried ahead by Remy, who dumps it in. Takes a check. Goes off of Brady Cray out of his net to play. Dampoose will slide it around the end wall. Comes far side. It's a weird off of the stanchion to the blue line. Bugs can't save it. Goes back out to center. John Burt will race after it and dump it in on a one-time clearing attempt. Goes far side now for Evan Hoagland. Behind the cage, Vinny knocked off stride, wins the race to it, slides up top for a moment, had Duke rather. That comes back out to center ice. Jonah Jouster at center, picks it off for Duke Earhart, slides it into the zone as it goes to Hoagland. Hoagland tried to hit the trailer Duke. That got deflected aside. The Brahmas will carry it back out to center. Here's Isaacson down the right wing. We'll wrap it around the end wall, takes a hop up to the circles for John Byrne, who slaps it to the middle, and O'Keefe will go D-to-D with it at his own blue line for Talaka. So again, the Brahmas not letting the puck go all the way down as Jackson Bates will dump it in. John Byrne wins the race to it, slides it around the board. Isaacson tries to save it, he can't. O'Keefe at the left point will wrap it around the board. Comes far side, Capano now at the half wall, dumped around again as he gets knocked down that time. Now Poloni races after it near corner. Up ahead for Earhart. Now McFadden is down as he's tangled up with Poloni behind the play. Puck bounces off the board. His team's being a little sloppy in the zone this time, and Ryan Barrett will play to center. Capano hauls him down, and there's no call-up coming. That could have been something on the Brahmas, but now Lone Star go ahead as the Georges Pond crowd lets their feelings be known. Adams plays it off of the boards, triangulates to center ice, picked up by Charlie Birchfield. He races after the loose puck and wraps it around the board. Brady Cray will intercept it behind the cage, backhands it around the board, trying to save it with Owen Case, but the Brahmas carry it to center ice. Final minute already here of the first period. Final long air, Lucier knocked off the puck at the blue line, goes back out to center ice. He feeds it up for Talaka, who sends it back into the Brahmas end for Alexander Oliver. Talaka plays catch with Oliver, now goes off the edge of Alexander's stick, and Willie Tremblay almost won the race to it, but it goes ping-ponging off a couple of Brahmas back to center ice. Birchfield dumps it in, 35 seconds to go in the opening frame. We're scoreless. Bucks had some good Offensive zone pressure, though, in this period, as Birchfield will turn and fire it in. Goes off a man at center ice, and the puck stays at neutral. Now bounces along the near side wall for Oliver to pick it up, and Remy throws the body on him, but Oliver sends a forearm shiver right back. Here's Adams up the far side wall, trying to break it out of the zone. Intercepted Lexell with 15 on the clock. Simons picks up the loose puck. Drops it off behind his net for Adams, who's just going to settle it down and waste off the clock, I would imagine. Let's see if the Bugs might try for one last rush. Adams to center with 2. Up ahead off the boards, Remy will wrap it around the end wall, and that's going to do it for a quick opening 20 minutes. Duncan, it's only been about 22 minutes in that first period in total, so what a pace early on.
No, absolutely. Just a quick pace hockey game. Well, a little different than what we saw on Friday and Saturday night there in North Richland Hills. Something I was going to address here, Zach, and it was to my right with Rich Perrant. You know, one thing I will never understand about hockey players, and it's this. I get if you're 2 or 3 feet away from the puck and the puck is loose, fine, get in the back check. You're 2 or 3 inches, poke it, skate to it, something. And that's what Rich Perrant was, the body language of him. By the way, I'll admit, it's good to have him up here because you learn a lot even when you're on the air. But that being said, Zach, I didn't hate this period. I'll be honest. 7-4 first period shots in favor of the Bugs. I love it. But that being said, though, got to get more into the offensive zone. Can't try to play fancy against this Lone Star Brahma team. Can't do the trick plays. Just have to play simple, old school, smash mouth hockey. That by the way, Zach, when you go inside here in George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum, play the hockey that won these banners. Right. Getting a little excited. With that being said, good period.
Well, I think the other thing, too, is we kind of mentioned it in Lone Star. We're seeing a little bit in that first period as well. Instead of carrying the puck out of the zone, the Bugs are content with clearing. And against most teams, that's an effective strategy. But Lone Star, they set all their defensemen up on top of the red line. And though you never get the puck past center, and then before you can change or anything else, Lone Star is all the way back into the zone. So I'd like to see, kind of what you mentioned, be a little more aggressive defensively. Offensively, they look really good. They're getting shots away. They're keeping plays alive. But just that defensive side. And, you know, we talk about playing in a system, and that's important. But as you develop over time as a hockey player, you have to learn when to jump out of the system and go on your own volition.
Oh, absolutely. You have to evolve with the times, evolve with the game. But that being said, though, Zach, I love a good old school smash mouth style of hockey. But again, that's just where I stand things here. I mean, you can't hate this period, though. I mean, Brady Craig was standing on his head, but Ethan Phillips, in the few chances he's got, stood on his head. The defense looking a lot better than they did on Saturday night, and even part of that Friday night, as you mentioned. But that's just where we stand. And here on this, by the way, North Caddo Express Loop Sports Intermission Show, brought to you by our friends and the North Caddo Express Loop in Vivian. Mention the discount code MUDBUGS25 for 10% off your service with them. I'll be talking to number 12, Duke Earhart. Had a great weekend. Well, great weekend in general for him. He was the scorer of the Bugs, 2 goals there in Lone Star. But that being said, I talked to him not only about last week, but I also talked about just a couple other things going on with David Duke Earhart. But that's on the other side, Zach. It's Goose Eggs on the board here in Shreveport. And as always, my friend, you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey here on NATV and the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Congratulations! You kept a plant alive another day. You deserve a refreshing reward. Introducing new Whataburgers from Whataburger. You finally returned a text. Thumbs up emoji. You hung up a shirt. You changed a light bulb. You walked the dog around the whole block. Attaboy, it's treat time. The new prickly pear raspberry Whatafresher from Whataburger.
An icicle treat for every small feat. What a burger.
Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
For the big, small, short, tall. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
Hey, this is Tyler Hodges, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Welker. Now let's get back to the action.
Welcome back to the Caddo Express Loop, first intermission show driven to you by our friends at the North Caddo Express Loop in Vivian. Mention the discount code MUDBUGS25 to get 10% off on your service. Now joining me, Mudbugs forward number 12, Duke Earhart. Duke, welcome in.
Thank you.
Of course. And of course, tonight is game number 3 of the South Division semifinals against the Lone Star and Brahmas. Of course, game 1 and 2 not ending the way, well, I think a lot of Mudbug fans wanted. But that being said, as Nick Saban always says, and as I always say on our side of things, 24-hour rule went into effect on both those nights. It's a new week, it's a new game. That being said, Duke, what's the plan going into tonight against these Lone Star Brahmas and even into this weekend?
Yeah, I think that's a good rule of thumb. Just memory of a goldfish, just forget about it. All we have to do now is win Friday, and so that's all we're worried about here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you mentioned memory of a goldfish. It's ironic. I said it. I've always said something like that in a job interview, and it comes from Ted Lasso or something like that. But that being said, Duke.
Love Ted Lasso.
Oh, you love that show?
Yes.
Nice. Okay, good. You know what? That's something new I was going to ask you about, but it's good to get that out of the way. Now, that being said, Duke, about those two games, I know we kind of mentioned memory of a goldfish, 24-hour rule, but that being said, what happened in both those games in North Richland Hills? What was the mindset in those two games?
I mean,
in and out.
I feel like they were just tough losses. Like, we were losing puck battles. Just they had us beat all over the ice, so we just need to come in Friday with a new fire and just outwork them everywhere and just outplay them.
Absolutely. But I will say, Duke, on the positive side of things, the 2 goals the Bugs were able to get past the Lone Star Brahmas came from you. So that's always good to see you continue on the point streak, including of that line of yours on Friday and Saturday night, being from Grayson Gerhardt and Evan Hoagland on that line as well. Now, obviously, this week in practice, the lines have shifted a little bit. That being said, Duke, what was your game plan, like your personal game plan, going into those 2 games?
I wouldn't say it was different than any other game. Just play my game, just play the way I play all the time, and just hope that'll work.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. It's a bit of an odd question to ask, I know, but it's just something I'm curious about. But speaking of things I'm curious about, Duke, what's been going on with you lately outside of the game? Obviously, I know it's kind of something that's been kind of on the back burner on your personal life when you're in a playoff situation like this. But I'm curious, what's been going on in your world outside of the game?
Just been trying to get outside more. I was outside and it started raining on me yesterday, so on and off, but I've been trying to get some more golf in.
Nice.
Work on the tan. Has not been going well at all. I'm still very white. So,
Fair enough.
yeah.
Fair enough. No, I mean, it is starting to get warmer around here, but it's funny. It starts to get warmer around here. Oh, no, then there's cold weather.
Exactly.
Then there's... that's always fun, dude. I feel like I've asked you this a few times before. How's your golf game been doing so far?
It's not the best, but room for improvement.
Fair enough.
It's been getting a little better, so.
Fair enough. Fair
Been
enough.
in the backyard chipping, working on my short game a little bit too.
Oh, yeah?
So.
All right, not bad, not bad. And I feel like I've asked you this also on top of it. You don't know your handicap, do you? Or do you?
No.
No?
I do not know.
Fair enough.
It's very high.
Now, Duke, it's funny. We talk about having memory of the goldfish. We talk about having that 24-hour rule. But something I am a little curious about, what's been the best part of this season for you this year, really? From, the beginning of the year, kind of ups and downs this season has been, but what's been the best part for you?
I mean, probably just the guys, like every day in the locker room's fun, hanging out outside, whether we're golfing with them or playing video games with them. So, I mean, always have a great time, so just meeting new people has been great.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of things to recount on this season, what do you think's been your most favorite game from this season, or favorite game series, I should ask?
It's a good question. I liked our first weekend against Oklahoma when we came back in regulation. That was pretty exciting. Good to get a win in the first two games.
Oh
so.
yeah, no, that was a fun one. Gosh, it's making me think back now to that time of September. I remember I was thinking to myself when we came back in that regulation, and this is going to be a interesting and fun team. But Duke, I got one more question for you, and then I'm going to let you get going, my friend. Coming into tonight against this Lone Star Brahma team, 2-0 down. You got the fans here inside George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum with the rally towels, wearing the white. We're wearing the white. That being said, Duke, any words of encouragement going forward for these fans?
I mean, just keep cheering loud. We're going to do all we can, and you do all you can. And, I mean, we'll see you Saturday night, too. So.
Absolutely. Thanks, Duke. It's always good to talk to you, buddy. Hope you're doing well, and obviously, you got to keep working on that short game, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back here on this North Caddo Express Loop First Intermission Show. You're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey here on NATV and the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Did you know that?
Hey, Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata and Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata and Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case, or visit them online at defatapi.com.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Fireplace Specialties is a proud corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Fireplace gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mantles, and grills. They've got it all. They're located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Once again, that's fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties is your fireplace headquarters.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This is Mitchell Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Alrighty, back here at North Carolina Express Loop First Intermission Show, as always brought to you by North Carolina Express Loop and Vivian, offering oil changes, inspection stickers, transmission services, and vehicle and key fob batteries. Mention discount code MUDBUGS25 to get 10% off your service. You can call 318-375-5823 for more information. So before we get to tonight's second period, after a scoreless first back and forth, take a look at our out-of-town scoreboard, and unfortunately, we're going to have to wait in suspense for the result of New Mexico and El Paso because they're in Mountain Time and they're going to start when we're almost done at the rate that this game's flying along.
I mean, there's something to be said about Mountain Time. But anyways, for the rest of the North American Hockey League here on this not only North Caddo Express Loop First Intermission show, brought to you by our friends at North Caddo Express Loop in Vivian. Mention the discount code MUDBUGS25 to get 10% off your service with them. But we're going to look at some of the rest of the games going on. And you know what's funny, Zach? You mentioned Mountain Time. But you know what's funny? The two out of the three, no, sorry, just the 1 out of 3 Alaska games. I apologize. The 1 out of 3 Alaska games are going on. It's the Fairbanks Ice Dogs on a 1-0 lead over the Wisconsin Wendigo. But across the rest of the league, Northeast 2-0 on the Rochester Junior Americans. And then the Austin Bruins and Watertown Shamrocks are tied there. The one other game on the North American Hockey League docket ongoing is the Bismarck Bobcats and Aberdeen Wings. 3-0 between the Bismarck Bobcats and the Aberdeen Wings. So interesting stuff there. And as you mentioned, the New Mexico and El Paso game will have to wait for a hot sec. And then the one other game, the Minnesota Wilderness and Anchorage Wolverines. But again, that's Alaska time. So.
Speaking of Alaska, when you look at that other matchup in Alaska, nobody can complain about travel ever again. Wisconsin playing Fairbanks. I looked it up when we were on the road. It is a over 22-hour drive. Of course, they're going to have to fly going to Alaska, but so we can't complain ever again in the South Division.
That's fair. That's fair. But hey, sometimes that's the beauty of the bus league that some people make the North American Hockey League out to be. But anyways, moving across into the world of sports here on this Shreveport Regional Airport First Intermission Scoreboard Update, brought to you by our friends at the Shreveport Regional Airports. More flights, more places, more often. That's the Shreveport Regional Airport. Stanley Cup playoffs 2-2 between the Lightning and the Canadiens in the second intermission, and 2 other games still on the docket, the Golden Knights and Mammoth, which, by the way, Zach, the Mammoth did a trade-in your Golden Knights jersey for a Utah Mammoth jersey. I like teams doing that, but Oilers and Ducks then at 9 o'clock Central Time. The NBA playoffs are on rolling. The Celtics currently lead the 76ers 73-72, but the less I have to say about the city of Philadelphia, I'm kidding. I love my friends in Philly. I love Joe Samango. He's a good guy. But when the Penguins, Cubs, and Celtics are all playing against teams in Philadelphia, well, I'm going to move on. Anyways, Lakers 59, Rockets 46, second quarter there. And then the Spurs and Timberwolves tip off at 9:30. In MLB, the Cubs take on the Dodgers. Cubs have been on a roll lately at 9:15. Currently ongoing, the Tigers 5-3, Tigers and Reds. And then the Orioles currently lead the Red Sox 9-3. Guardians 8-4. The Rays lead it 4-1 over the Twins. And the Pirates lead it 3-0 over the Brewers. NFL draft going on. Of course, last night, the number 1 overall pick, Fernando Mendoza from Indiana, the Heisman Trophy winner and national champion. And by the way, he's a LinkedIn partner. You got to love that. I follow him on LinkedIn. But, anyways, the second round is going on tonight. And the Saints have picked Kristen Miller from UGA, a defensive tackle. So, big old boy there. But, of course, the Cowboys are not scheduled to pick until later on in this draft. But, yeah. So, that's all I really got to say here on this North Caddo Express Loop First Intermission show and the Shreveport Regional Airport First Intermission scoreboard update. I don't know about you, but I'm going to flex.
Yeah, we are going to keep it here, by the way, as we get ready to start the second. I got to make a correction. It's not 20. Well, it is over 22 hours. That was not a lie. It's actually 57-hour drive. It is 3,341 miles from Wisconsin. I mean, I just did Wisconsin in general, but Wisconsin to Fairbanks. And you've got to drive through Canada, so you're going through 2 different countries as well. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's just stay out of that division and stay in the South. And it's also a 9-hour and 10-minute flight if you were to fly direct. So.
Yeah, I was about to say, a couple of years ago, in the earlier stages of the North American era Hockey League Mudbugs, actually some of the Alaska teams came and visited the Mudbugs, so I've heard that was a fun experience. But this is back before you got here. And it's before we got back, so I think safe to say that probably won't be done again, but I could be wrong.
It's a long trip. I'll keep Houston, and we'll call it good. How about that? Is that a fair deal?
Oh, yeah, of course, that's our friends coming up. The Houston Bulls joining the South Division next season. I'm excited to go there. It's the Houston land area. You know, diehard hockey fans at Houston, you know, of course, they had the Arrows in the AHL and even back all the way into the WHA days. Of course, Gordie Howe playing with the Arrows in the WHA as the Brahmas make their way down the tunnel. Looks like everybody's doing a little flex around here inside George's Pond at Hearst Coliseum, whether you're in Mudbugs purple and teal or Brahmas purple and black. Of course, we're in white and red tonight. But that being said, love a good time at the Bugs game.
Lots of purple nonetheless. It looks like, you know, with UCF being in the Big 12, Kansas State, TCU, we see a lot of purple there. But, you know, just like the SEC, you see a lot of red.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of red.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, of course, now the refs now on the ice. By the way, I wonder if anyone of my generation, maybe a little younger generation, maybe Gen Alpha, has ever heard the phrase called toll-free. Of course, that's not the nickname, but the last name of one of the linesmen tonight as the Bugs now make their way out of the Gemco hometown tunnel. And all you need to do to call toll-free. Well, I had a good pun set up there, but I lost it in my head. Nonetheless, second period, getting ready to get underway here, Zach. I'm excited, but we just need more offensive zone chances. We need to keep the physicality. And as Rich Perrant said the other night, physicality and execution will win hockey games. And hopefully he heard me say physicality and execution win hockey games, because that's what he told me going down the tunnel, and he does agree with me. All right.
You know, he also, in our pregame interview, wished that Duke Earhart was going to score 3 goals in the first period. Sadly, that did not happen because we are scoreless. But nonetheless, the Bugs, as you mentioned, much better defensively in that first frame. But now they've got to play for 60 minutes because that was the struggle in Lone Star. Really, and again, it's a shame. You know, you go down 0-2 in the series. They've really only played one bad period of hockey and one lukewarm period of hockey. The other 4, they've been playing really well, and add this one here tonight as well thus far. So it's not like they're playing bad. No. They just got to claw their way out of, you know, a few moments of desperation, and that's kind of what they got here. But I like the aggressiveness early. The defense has been good. The offense has saved a lot of plays. There was that one possession where they saved it 5-6 times at the blue line. So just got to keep things going moving into the second period. Shots are only 7-4. But that's because a lot of shots got deflected in front. Both teams did a really good job of keeping the traffic in front of the goaltenders.
Absolutely. I mean, and Tyler Hodges on the bench. By the way, wakeboarding is his talent. I wish he would have told me that. But that's a different story for a different day, Zach. Ethan Phillips getting the start tonight. Ethan Phillips has been doing a great job so far through 20 minutes. Same thing with Brady Cray, of course. So goaltending and defensive skills seem to be the name of the game. Well, Zach, usually I save this for the opening, but why not make it two? Boys up on their feet, signals turn around. Vinny DiUlio on the face-off, and Zach, second period action as they separate the two. Second period action underway. Let's go.
Bugs will ski right to left to the middle frame. We're scoreless after one. The Bugs outshot the Brahmas 7-4, and if you look at grade A chances, that's a pretty lopsided number as well after that first period. As the Bugs will start the second frame with the puck as Jared Griner carries it to center, but immediately banked off the boards by Scalen. Turned back over, Griner steals it right back and dumps it in. So it goes along the far sidewall. Cray watches over it. Now we'll get a piece of it. Bugs work it into the corner, battling for possession in the offensive zone. Flipped out to center ice off the top of the boards by Ventusinque and all the way back down into the Bugs end, where Mitchell Reed will backhand up the wall for DiUlio as they make a Brahma blow a tire that time. That was Scanlon. He's back up to his feet as he races back into the plate towards the bench. Now it's DiUlio into the offensive zone. Cuts towards the net, lost the puck, got it back, drew it up high slot. One-time drive for Wolf Talby down to a knee. Brady Cray makes a big stop. Another grade A chance for the Bugs and another great save for Brady Cray.
Oh, gosh, that was a point-blank range save there for Brady Cray. Don't get me wrong, though. The shot by Liam Wolf-Talby, lovely stuff. And you can tell Liam Wolf-Talby wants another chance at that to get it right past Brady Cray. It was good on both ends, but obviously the other side of it, Brady Cray comes out with it.
Brady Cray, as we mentioned, was in the backup role for most of the season. He's gotten every playoff start thus far over Leo Gabriel, and he's been big in net. Brady Cray had a .958 save percentage after his opening 2 games. The Bugs will force a deflection back out to center. Alexander picks up. First time we mentioned his name tonight as it's back into the zone. And now Evan Adams has to win a race to it as Phillips, instead of passing it, dropped it off for him. Bugs will bank it off the boards. Held in now by Vaith at the blue line. No, they say he came out offside. So it looks like McFadden must have been half a stride ahead as the second period. Tonight brought to you as always by our friends at DeFata and Associates, investigative and risk analysis services. Personal matters, child custody cases, or internal theft problems of your business. Call our main man, Jerry. 318-635-9944 to sketch your case or log on to DeFataPI.com. Here with 18:39 to go in a scoreless second frame here as Owen Case controls neutral zone face-off. Bugs work out of their own zone over the blue line and now into the Brahmas end. Brady Cray out to play behind his cage. Will backhand it off the top of the board. Held in by Ryan Barrett. Birchfield gets a piece of below the goal line. Throws out in front. Barrett trying to get the tip on the doorstep. That one's turned aside, and the Bugs force a turnover. It's Willie Tremblay seals away at the blue line. Tremblay down to the bottom of the left circle. Spins off a defender. Lost it at the hash mark. Still battling Murray for it that time. That flipped up the walls. Capano carries it ahead. Tries to get around Owen Case, and Case shoves him, angling him off along the board. As it bounces free behind the Bugs end. They'll pick up the puck. Far side, flipped down to center, over the stick of Nazarene, chases it back into the Brahmas end. Far circle, spins around Barrett, works up the shadow of the boards that time, and it's stolen away right back at center ice again as Birchfield dumps it in. Cray off to the left of his net to play it, leaves it off as the Brahmas start to break out up the near side boards now as Lucy will backhand it in softly. Goes off of the end wall, picked up by John Burnt, around a defender. Now Burnt will try the outlet pass out to center to the sink of Grayson Garrett, who just came out of the bench. He'll poke it into the zone. Delacro picks up. Now it's a foot race for it again. Far wall. Jeremiah Roberts in for some help defensively, but eventually the Brahmas turn it back the other way. This should go for icing if it doesn't hit Phillips. It doesn't. It goes all the way to the end boards, and Nander Poloni had no contest that time. So that'll be icing with 17:24.
As Robert J. Wright said, icing always this season. I've been brought to you by our friends at Louder Baking Company. That's Louder Baking Company. And our friends, well, their friends rather, a Doc Sandwich Shop.
Yeah, so if you like Louder's Baking Company, go for dessert and then go over to Doc's. Here's a shop for the blue line for some lunch, or some savory, I guess, more so. They make the bread for Doc's. As this one goes on net, Brady Cray is just going to hang on to it and freeze it for a stoppage with 17-14 left in this DeFata and Associates second period. And you know what's been really interesting so far tonight, Duncan? It's been a pretty calm game. We had a lot of tensions in Lone Star, as usual. Not so much here in the first period.
And that's absolutely right, Zach. It's just been, it's been as calm as, well, calm can be. And I say calm as calm can be because I get the feeling it's going to start blowing up here in the next few, if not seconds, then maybe minutes, as Scanlon gets thrown out, and we'll do it again. By the way, I want to say hello to Todd Greiner, listening and watching back home. He's here during Parents Weekend, as were a lot of the Bucs parents. Good to talk to him a little bit. Now, I thought they were going to do something with Greiner. Nope, looks like we're good.
All right, we wait in suspense as it's one pack by Nander Poloni. Tied up along the wall near side. Sable steals it away. Chips it around the cage. Comes far side for Wolf Dalby, who got robbed a few moments ago. Throws it out in front. Diulio with a glove stop by Crane. He hangs on for another whistle. So frustrating to watch the Bucs try to play Crane. He set up well. That's another one right there. They get the feed to Vinny, and he's wide open. Crane makes another nice stop.
Yeah, I know. That's just one of the harsh things. If you're a player, just getting a nice point-blank shot, really anywhere over the ice, but obviously in this case it was in between the hashes, and I do mean in between the hashes there for Vinny Diulio, but, well, that's just the sometimes unfortunate nature of this beautiful game.
Leo Isaacson off the face-off win will carry it ahead to center ice. Through the middle logo. Brought in by McFadden. Tried to drop it back, and Hoagland got a piece of it. Now Poloni rubbed off the puck. Goes off of the back of the net and trickles over to John Byrne, who tracks it down. Almost over skates. It gets it back. Takes a hard hit into the boards as he goes down, but the puck bounces right to a friendly face in Jonah Jasser, the Bucs captain. So Jasser tries to battle two Brahmas. John Byrne throws the body right back, and intensely picking up, now giving away right on front. McFadden with a shot, point blank, great stop. Rebound, cut down the middle. Jackson Vate pushed it wide, and Phillips got a piece. Brahmas keep it alive at the right point. Alexander back into the corner for Vates. Vates tries to split the D, lost the puck as it trickles softly over to the far wall, picked up by Jasser. He took a hit from Isaacson. Jasser turns it now for John Burton, who settles it down behind the net. 4 minutes gone here in a scoreless second period. It's game 3. The Bugs are do or die time as the Brahmas hold the 2-0 series advantage in this best of 5. Bugs and Brahmas trading possessions in the Bug zone. Now it's Earhart who slaps it in for Birchfield, poked away, and Geller going to try to push the tempo the other way, and then Birchfield stayed with it as the Brahmas are offside. So Birchfield got stolen away at center, immediately got back on defense, and broke up what would have been a 3-on-1.
I know, that's just good defensive play there from Charlie Birchfield. They are able to get it back.
Faceoff's coming up just outside of the Bugs end. 15:48 left in the second. We're scoreless. Back and forth we've gone in this middle frame. The first frame was pretty much all Bugs. They outshot the Brahmas 7-4 and had a whole bunch of offensive chances that don't count as shots because they got blocked. So here's Reed, works in front of the net, up ahead for Ryan Barrett. He bangs it off of the board, chipped into the Brahmas end, and they'll float it back out to center. Now Murray dodges the check, goes down though, and lost the puck around Remy. It's Ryan Barrett's who got to crawl on the loose puck. Bounces it across far side for Tremblay. Swings it back along the end wall, comes near side. Up the wall, it's Mitchell Reed, drops it off at the circle. Now the Bugs having some trouble getting out of their own zone here. Now it's played up ahead for Reed. Across the center red line, jumped over the head of Ryan Barrett. Far corner, foot race for it. Bugs are going to win it. Back of the net, trying to work something free as Nazarine's got a hold of the puck behind the cage. Still working at it. Now delayed call. First power play of coming for the Bugs. They're going to draw the only penalty here. Charlie Birchfield got grabbed from behind by Nazarine. And Mark Bork, the referee, with the call. And now the Bugs power play. 0 for their last 9. It's going to get their first chance, but they got to get on the board.
No, absolutely. As Nazarine's trying to argue his case, but as I'm hearing goaltending coach Rich Perron, my right, I believe that Nazarine left his feet when taking down Birchfield. So they're going to call that almost every time if he leaves his feet. So that being said, these Bug fans are getting pumped up for this Scott Powerline power play.
So John Burt wins the face-off. His drive stopped by McFadden. Isaacson will chase after. Tremblay smartly plays up the wall for Grayson. Sends it back down for Willie. Top of the right circle. Now back up to the blue line for Gerhard. They'll send it down in the corner for Earhart. So these two will get some action on the power play line together. John Burt, high slot. Snaps it left for Hoagland. Hoagland back up top for John Burt. Toes the line. Now back for Hoagland. Top of the left circle. They play catch. Back and forth they go with Johnny and Evan. Johnny's got it left point. Up top for Hoagland. Hoagland high slot. Now works in the right circle. Tries to drive one through traffic. It's turned aside, and Isaacson will rifle it down length to the ice. The Bugs took way too long to try to set something up there. Already wasted 40 seconds out of man advantage as John Burnt will race after the loose puck behind the net. Got to try to start something up here as they'll cycle the two forwards behind him. Hoagland to the right, Earhart to the left. It's Earhart who carries it into the zone. Up ahead for Grayson, into the corner. Hoagland will run the foot race to it along the near side wall. Bounces up the wall for Gerhard. He slaps it up for John Burnt. Burnt snaps it across for Willie at the right point. Back up top for Johnny. One-time drive. Steve Craig couldn't club down the puck. Gave up a rebound. Goes off of the boards, but Scanlon's going to float it into the bench and out of play for his stoppage at 13:48. That was a much better zone entry that time. The Bugs took first way too long in that first one.
No, absolutely. I mean, that second attempt on the power play looked a lot better than the first one. That being said, though, those seconds are ticking on this Scott Powerline power play opportunity. Got to get something heavy front now. Go.
Already down to 49 seconds on the power play. Birchfield's in to take the draw. It's got Jasser off to his near wing. Adams case on defense. Charlie gets right out of the draw that time, so in to take it will be Jasser. This is a line that's been playing well. They just haven't been able to get on the scoreboard quite like the Earhart-Gerhard line as it's been all the way back into the Bugs end. It's Owen Case who picks up the puck. He carries it ahead over the blue line, gets knocked off the puck by Oliver, but he dumped it around the boards for Adam. Adams flays it over to the far wall, trying to throw it to the middle. Jasser intercepts it. Jasser high slot. His shot goes ping-ponging around off of Capano. Eventually tracked down by Sable, and they'll turn and burn all the way down the ice. So Phillips has to come out of his net left side to play it. Banks it off of the wall for Jonah Jasser, who waits for it. Skates ahead to center ice. Jasser to lefty stick. Carries a full head of steam. Over the line, drops it off for Birchfield. Birchfield to left circle toe, taken away from him and sauce it all the way back down. That's going to pretty much do it for the power play here.
Yeah, no, I'll be honest there. I love the fire in Jonah Jasper's eyes, but when he had the puck there, coming up with it loose, I should have not shot it there, and that took a weird, I'll be honest, that puck took a weird bounce. I thought it went out of play, but to my original point on that power play, Jasper should have tried to find it out and pass it out instead of taking that shot, because sometimes you have to be unselfish, but that's just where I see it.
Finney in a foot race for Griner. Almost flew a tire, but he stays with it. Now up ahead is Talakro. Snaps it across for Isaacson. Can't corral, or Vates rather. This is going to be just barely icing by maybe half a stride that time. Stops the clock with 12:31. Close icing races have been the story the last couple of weeks.
No, absolutely. And so I'm going to kind of make a weird comparison. And for those of you who follow lacrosse might get it. So what you saw there is, and it's similar to lacrosse when a player sticks his stick out to keep possession. Obviously, the Bugs had to stick a stick out to make sure the icing call went that way and gets it back down to the O zone. So good and smart there from the Bugs.
So Griner angled off the puck here by Talakro. That could be a penalty on the Brahmas. If Rich Perrott believes so, down to our right as it's played around the boards. Back out to center ice. Jackson Vates waits for the puck from Talakro, but it goes ping-ponging around. Now back up in over the line is O'Keefe. O'Keefe into the quarter. John Burnt shoves them along the wall. Bugs pick it up, try to work it quickly. Pick it there. It's Poloni, gets knocked down. Back up to his feet quickly. Give it away to Lexell. Lexell in the slot. His shot deflects through traffic. Gloved out a bit air by Isaacson. Played now by his 17 counterpart Poloni, and Nandor will slide it up, but this could go for icing if it gets there. The puck wobbling down there, and it doesn't have quite enough strength to get over the red line, so we'll play on here with 11:45 to go in the second. Tavares plays it into the zone. Takes the check from Poloni. Bounces the puck to Lexell. Nice move around Sakrisky. Lexell in the blue paint. Phillips got a piece of it to knock it away in the crease. Back up towards the blue line. Sakrisky with a good harassing defensive play. Then Sakrisky gets knocked down. Puck came out and came back in. That's going to be offside. And Liam Wolf-Talby grabs the hold that time of Wildfong. And that's going to bring us to immediate timeout. The linesmen step in. 11:30 to go. We have a penalty as well. The back referee called it. Hooking. Bugs going to the kill on the other side here on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Are you planning a group night at the rink? Bring out your friends, coworkers, classmates, or teammates and take advantage of special group rates for future Mudbugs home games. Groups of 10 or more get tickets for just $10 each. It's affordable, it's fun, and it's a perfect night out at George's Pond. Call 318-636-7094 today to book your group and lock in your seats for all the Mudbugs action.
This is Brahmas-4 and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Zach Grant, Duncan Walker back here. 11:30 left to go in the second period. We're scoreless. This is a hometown hero being honored here at George's Pond. And the Bucks kill is 2 of 2. They're going to get another shot here as looks like Jeremiah Roberts going to be the guilty party called for hooking by the back referee behind the play, Dawson Black. So another kill will come for the Bucks. It's been a strong suit the last couple of weeks, though.
No, it really has. It's been a strong suit, and it's had a really good reputation as the McKay Consulting hometown hero. It gets honored.
Hometown hero being honored. The rally towels are waving out in full force for that.
I love it. I love it.
Now we get the signal. The referee, Mark Borg, gave the signal to drop the puck, and the linesman, Tygo O'Brien, was still clapping for the hometown hero. But D-zone drop for the Bucks here. They're going to be shorthanded for 2 minutes as Robert sits for hooking. And the Bucks win the first one and try to play it out, but it's held in by Dampoose at the blue line. Ventusinque tries to play it down low. Slides up top now for Oliver. Snaps it across Dampoose. They go D to D once more at the blue line. Oliver plays catch. Back for Dampoose. Back for Oliver. At the right point. Feeds it down low to the right circle. Carried by Nasruddin. Up top for Oliver. Snaps it across Dampoose. Dampoose in the high slot. Bugs almost stole it away. Griner pinching. Here's Scanlon right down Main Street. Blasted it wide, and a great chance with nobody in front of him, but he missed the net. Big battle there along the corner. Griner almost got the interception, by the way, right before that. As Earhart's got it along his skates. 40 seconds gone into power play, and that was a first possession there for Lone Star. That was similar to the Bugs' first possession on their power play. They took too long. As here's Earhart, tries to play it out, can't clear it, held in. Scanlon, high slot, works around a defender, drops it off. Right point for Oliver. Down low, Nadradine sets it back up. Scanlon, one-time drive. He blasted another one wide of the net. And he's 0 for 2 on getting it to Ethan Phillips. Now up top, Dampoose snaps it across left circle. Cycles back up top for Oliver. High slot. Now McFadden throws it to the middle. Scanlon, he blasted another one wide. It might have gone off of Phillips. I think he got a piece of it. Nonetheless, puck's out of play with 10:19. Good defensive on that PK there, and Griner almost got that steal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The defensive effort from this first choice personnel penalty kill unit has helped this. Well, run out of adjectives, but you get what I'm saying. The defensive unit is doing good stuff. Love to see it.
Jackson Bateson to take the ozone draw for the Brahmas. On the near side. Up across from Vinny Diolo. It's tied up off the draw, goes bouncing up over top of both centers. Now it's a 5-car pilot right on the dot. Up top for Lexell. Can't save it, goes all the way down. So the Bugs don't get the clear. The Brahmas do it for him. As Talacro will carry it to center ice, drops it back into his own zone, and the Bugs almost steal another one. And this one goes high up in the air, near the rafters, which is hard to do here in this building. As Jackson Vates will play it, he'll settle it down for Sable. Snable snaps it up ahead on a quick headman pass, bounces near side for Isaacson, plays it off of the boards for Talacro, and his shot goes tumbling out of play for another stoppage here with 9:48, 19 seconds to go. But these pucks are flying up in the air here tonight.
Yeah, no, they really are. And Chris Cepeda actually in the Mudbugs box, having his work cut out for him tonight. Chris Cepeda is having to get, well, depending on if they bounce off the net or not, having his work cut out for him. Luckily that one stays at least in the surface. It just hit the netting though. But
yeah, you saw Remy's clear in the first, go well over the netting. You saw those couple bounce all the way up in the rafters. That one was carried up and out of play as Capano was in to take the ozone draw. Tied up off the draw, but it bounces for Lucier. Dampoose can't corral it cleanly. Jasser plays up the wall, but not out. Held in at the left point. Snapped across for Alexander. Has trouble getting it off his skate. Now plays it off of the boards. Plays to Karam now down low below the goal line. Behind Ethan Phillips is Nathan Murray. In the corner, the Bugs trying to turn it out. They can't. Alexander holds it in as Roberts is out of the box. The Bugs 3 of 3 now on the kill. Alexander at the right point. Feeds it down low. Behind the net again, Murray. Murray takes a shove off the puck. Bugs get the puck, and they lift it up to center ice. So it goes over to the center red line as Tremblay tries to get around a couple of Brahmas. Played back up ahead by Lone Stars. Capano dumps it off of the boards, and Owen Case is going to easily win the race to this one, but Capano steals it away from him. Capano threw down front. Murray blew a tire. He would have had a great one-time chance, but he fell down. Delayed call upcoming here on, should be on the Brahmas as Phillips comes out. Alexander wins the race to it. There's the whistle. The Bugs are going to go to their second power play. They're 0 of 10. I mean, I don't know if you can overstate this, but they need a goal on this man advantage.
No, they just, honestly, Zach, I think you said it best. They really need it. So let's see what the call here is. As it'll be number 56 going to the box. That's Lucier, excuse me. Lucier going to the box. And it'll be high sticking is the call. But that being said, these Bugs fans are getting pumped up for this Scott Powerline power play. And boy, do we need to get pumped up right now on this Scott Powerline power play.
So Bugs power play entering last weekend with a 20%. It was improving, and then, well, it's hit a skid right now as John Burns got it at the left point, turned over. O'Keefe will backhand it out to center ice. And, you know, our general manager, Scott Musket, asked during the week if we could decline penalties coming up like football. But Bugs are on the power play. 20 seconds gone on the man advantage. This is Earhart up the near side wing at center. Snaps it across. Far side. Tremblay can't corral it cleanly, and Scanlon will just barely poke it as it tumbles end over end into that corner. John Burnt wins the race to it. Slides it across for Evan Oakland. Snaps it to open ice off of the boards as Earhart plays to Karam. Full head of steam. Around two defenders. Cuts it on a load. His shot stopped by Cray. Went down to his stomach. Got a piece of it. Another great chance for the Bugs on the power play. But they can't cash in as it bounces for Gerhardt. He enters his zone quickly. Grayson drops it off for Duke. Duke shot in front, and that's going to cause a scramble as Hoagland almost made contact with Gray. Everybody finds a dance partner. 2 great chances for the Bugs on a power play unit that's struggling. They just can't get it past Brady Gray. What a 2 grade A chances.
Oh, really? I mean, we're getting our chances in, and I love to see it. By the way, you mentioned everyone finds a dance partner. Duke Earhart and the rest of the Bucks kind of just said, nah, we'll relax on this, and that's rare. I love it, though. Keeping your calm and composure are the Bucks so far, and I love it. It's good.
66 seconds remains on the power play for the Bucks. They win the offensive zone draw as Owen Case sends it down low. Back up top now for Owen as he toes the blue line. Snaps it across to the right point. Down low for Roberts at the circle. Thrown away McFadden. Tries to make it off the boards, and it bounces right to center ice, but Owen Case steps in front of it to grab it. Now the Bucks trying to enter the zone. It's Roberts who almost misplayed it. Now sent it back to his own blue line. Adams goes D-to-D with Case on top of the red line at center ice. Dumps it in over the head of the referee. And playing the camera is Roberts. Roberts got around one defender, tried to get around a second as Birchfield also comes for some help. Wildfong's got it on his stick, and he floats it, hopping all the way down. So Bugs down to the last 25 seconds of the power play as it's Owen Case again through center ice. Far side, Adams gets knocked down as he tried to get across the blue line, and another clear for Lone Star.
Not gonna lie, that looked a little heavy on there, but you know what? Again, that's why you and I are up here, Zach. But again, this power play unit just a little hard to describe right now, but still a ton of hockey left. So.
And those 2 chances early in the power play, but now Lucier comes out of the box. So Bugs now 0 of 11, 6:45 left to go in the second. The Bug gets knocked down there along the far side wall. Now it's wrapped around near side. Racing after loose puck is Reed. Tries to play it up the wall for Griner, who pinches after it. Great play to prevent a clear. Then O'Keefe hauls a man down. That could have been a penalty right in front of the referee, too. But we planned, and Wolf Talby gets knocked down by Talakro. Those 2 went at it at the end of the game in Lone Star on Saturday. Seems to be continuing here as Lucier cuts in. That could have been a penalty on the Bugs as well. Referee's letting it play here in the second period as it's carried ahead by Mitchell Reed. Snaps it across for Griner. Griner into the zone. Almost lost the puck. Now it's got to play the camera around Sable. Works below the goal line. Throws out in front. Craig got a piece of it. Knocked out of midair, and Capano will lift it. Not going to be, actually took a big bounce, and the lineman at the last second waved off after Remy let up. Thought he could have waved it off a little bit earlier, but here's Griner now. Works into his own zone. 5:52. Scoreless second period in Shreveport. Who will get on the board first in Game 3 of the South Division semifinals? Brahmas turn it over as Simon banks off the board. It is Vinny. So now comes far side for Nadradine, and he will lift it up. This should go for icing unless it hits Phillips. Going on net. Phillips is going to watch it just barely. Streak past the post. That was about an inch away from hitting him, but it is icing nonetheless. 200 feet length of the ice.
Woo, man. I'm going to be honest. That first one I got waved off there, that really could have been called. And I say that because, again, although Remy let up, I'll be honest, I didn't think he let up that much. But, again, sometimes these refs see it different than we do. What are they called? Seeing with your hearts, not your eyes?
Well, they see with their eyes, not their hearts. But
well, no, I meant us.
Oh, yeah, no. See with your hearts and not your eyes. The great Mark Johnson of Colorado. Longtime voice over there as it's played back out to center ice. He's got a lot of one-liners. You've heard most of them throughout the season. And it's played in now by Poloni after Sakritzi got knocked down. He stayed with it. Now Nandor shoved along the boards by Oliver. Bounces free. Trying to play it up the wall where the Bugs, but it's intercepted by Lone Star. And Gerhardt saw it away for a moment, but it's poked away from him and sent all the way back down. The Bluebirds start raining down here as John Burnt will leave it off along the near side wall. 5 minutes to play in a scoreless second. This is not the game that anybody expected after last weekend for either team, really. I mean, the Bugs coming out have some great offensive chances. They can't score. The Brahmas really have been held at bay offensively. This is going to be icing if Sakrisky can't save it, but back and forth game, scoreless. This is playoff hockey right here.
Oh, yeah. No, this is definitely playoff hockey, and personally, I think a lot of people wouldn't have it any other way, Zach.
No, I mean, obviously, any part of Mudbugs Nation doesn't like to see the Brahmas on the other side of the schedule, but I mean, with the history between these two teams in professional hockey, now in juniors, multiple Robertson Cups for each team since joining the North American Hockey League, they usually have to go through one another on the way there, nonetheless. So, I mean, I don't know what more you can ask for. The Wildfang tries to throw it up front, and it goes through everybody and all the way down the ice. I don't know how it didn't hit one of the 10 people standing in front of it.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I thought it deflected off of somebody on the way to it.
There's Tavares. He blasts one wide, and a rebound off the side of the net. And now it comes out of play for a stoppage here with 4:22 left in the second.
Seems like everybody's okay where the puck went into, and a nice souvenir. Love to see it.
But, I mean, again, you know, you look at the South Division semis. It's not right to be playing Corpus or Odessa or Amarillo or anybody, really, other than the Brahmas.
I don't know. I'm just...
And I'll tell you what, no matter what happens tonight or in the series out west, the finals is going to be a crazy series regardless. Here's Gerhard over the line. It was poked away from him. Hoagland fired one at the whistle. The delayed offside. 4:12 stops the clock at center. But, yeah, that's going to be a heavyweight battle over there. Of course, El Paso also looking for a sweep here tonight. And they get started a little bit later on. They should almost be starting out in El Paso. And looked like a weird face-off, but Oakland won it, so we'll take it. Into the Brahmas end it goes. Bugs trying to set something up offensively. Along the near side wall, 4-car pile up as Jasser starts throwing his stick around. He plays it up the boards for Owen Case. At the left point through traffic, Crane never saw it, got a piece of it nonetheless. Bounces up top for Adams. Now Dampoose will race after loose puck, tries to clear it. Oakland seals it away, cuts in through the blue paint. Lost off the edge of his stick though, and Isaacson will lift it off of the linesman to center ice it comes. So might have got all the way down, but he threw it right into the lining. This is played up the near side wall. Now McFadden tries to stick it to the middle. Isaacson plays it off the board. Vates will play to avoid the icing call. Evan Adams wins the foot race to it nonetheless. So far corner, he's got it in the defensive zone, trying to work it free. Back out to center ice. Capano steals it away. Capano in the far corner. Offensive zone for the Brahmas. His shot goes off of Phillips, goes off of the board, then bounces near side to Lockrow, who fires a one-timer. He blasted one wide as well. Here's Vates around the end wall. Picked up by Adams. Shoved off the puck by Capano, but it bounces to a friendly face. Up the wall now. The Bugs can't clear once again off the boards. Capano holds it in. Capano at the far corner for Murray. He'll wrap it around the end wall behind the cage. Picked up near side by Jonah Jasser. Leaves off, it hits the skate to the referee, and Owen Case was unable to clear. Now Hoagland will finally play one off the wall. This is going to go for icing, maybe. The puck is losing steam, and it's going to sit just before the red line. And Jasser throws the body around, almost creates the turnover, but Tremblay couldn't get it cleanly to his stick. 2:38 and rolling here to scoreless second. Murray flips into the zone. Bugs will glove it down at the blue line. Now goes behind the net for Evan Adams. Goes D to D for Mitchell Reed. Reed will slap it up ahead, tried to feed Birchfield, who was waiting back at the Brahmas blue line, but Lone Star sealed away, and they're into the zone. Scanlon around one. His shot, he pushed it wide again. A rebound comes out in front. That's the fourth time that Tyson Scanlon has had an open net in front of him, and he's missed it. So he's having an off night for the Brahmas thus far. He could have 4 goals. Here's Ventusinque. His blast is stopped in front off a body and puts that to center ice, and now it's going to be a foot race for it. Barrett's going to not win it against Cray, though, as Cray had to come all the way to the circles to play it. Blasted all the way down. Tremblay picks it up for the Bugs behind the cage, trying to get around Wildfang. And he does so successfully off a screen from Remy. Pusateri gets it back, goes over for Charlie Birchfield, slaps it across again for Reed. Along the far side wall, Tremblay whacking at the loose puck, trying to pry it free. Minute 40 to go in a scoreless second. Brahma gets knocked down that time. He's on top of the puck. That's going to draw a whistle. And now here comes the cross checks after the infraction, as couldn't tell who that was. I think that was Bear down the corner, sent a stick away of a Brahman, and that started everything. But the linesman stepped in quickly, and cooler heads will eventually prevail for a stoppage with 98 seconds to go in the middle frame.
And coming up in those 90-plus seconds, Zach, I will talk to, as part of the Sonic Drive-In second intermission show, of course brought to you by our friends at the Sonic Drive-In. Sonic Drive-In, this is how we Sonic. I'll talk to Mudbug forward number 23, Evan Hoagland. Talk to me a little bit about some of his favorite memories of the season, but also talk to me a little bit about what's next for him when hockey ends, because that's a little while to go, but that was unsightly. Anyways, that being said, talk to Evan Hoagland in those 90 seconds and rolling as part of the Sonic Drive-In second intermission show.
Evan Hoagland, he's had a solid season for the Bucks. Comes in with 47 points, had an assist last weekend on just one of 2 Bucks goals. It's a tough weekend offensively for the Bucks and defensively, but the goaltending was still good as this is played in. As they faced a lot of shots. This one goes tumbling down off of Brady Curry, plays it off the wall. McFadden will bank it back out to center ice. Icing potentially is going to be waved off, though, as Remy's going to get it long before it crosses the red line. Remy now works behind the cage for Wolf Talby. He can't save it. Neither can Isaacson, as they both tried to throw their body against the boards to stop the puck from flying around, but eventually it comes back to the near side where Griner had it on his stick for a moment. Leaves it off now for Gerhardt, or Pusateri rather, back out to center ice. Final minute here of the second period where scores. Alexander avoids a big hit, and now we're going to get a penalty call. We'll see who it's on. It could have been on Wolf Talby, but then I think the referee saw it late, and Alexander is going to be the guilty party. Alexander didn't do anything, but he's going to get called for the penalty.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, unless there was something said, like an unsportsmanlike conduct, anything like that, let's find out what it is here.
Yeah, Wolf Talby, Alexander dumped the puck. Wolf Talby was going to hit him late.
Nice sticking.
And then Wolf Talby, when he tries to hit Alexander, ran into his stick, and the referee had a fracture. Watching him as off the clear, it looked like his head turned late, so he only saw the back half of that. So I can see how he would think that with high sticking, but Bucks catch a break. Now you got to make a pay because this power play has to get a goal. They got things going offensively.
Yep.
They just got to find the back of the net.
I know, absolutely, and I'd be remiss if I say it, Zach, but I'm going to say it one more time. These Bucks fans are getting pumped up for this Scott Powerline power play, and we got to get pumped up on this power play. Come on.
Off the face-off, it's Corral, and then Scanlon and Earhart going at it away from the play. Now it goes off of John Burt, and now he's got Scanlon on his backside trying to win a race to it. Evan Hoagland will corral it. Far side, snaps it across for Duke. 30 seconds to go in the second. Drops it off over the line for Gerhardt. Grayson can't get it cleanly, and Talaka will fire one that again travels high in the air and well out of play. A major league fly ball that time. Puck's going to come out to center with 25 seconds. It is almost baseball season, so they're getting it into the spirit, I guess.
Oh, yeah, no, it's more than baseball season. I mean, for those of you in the Arklatex area, the Rangers are not having the best of year. The Astros, I'll be honest, same thing, not having the best of year. Rangers doing better, but again, that's just in the Arklatex. But I'll leave my reserves for other teams later.
Well, nobody can do as bad as my team's doing right now. Here's John Burt through traffic, blocked down in front. Bounces for Hoagland, who pushed it just wide. He had a point-blank range. He went down to his right knee to try to one-time, and he lifted it over the net. Bucks hold on to it. On the power play, shot to the blue paint, bounces in front, and Cray's going to pounce on top of it for a stoppage. Another great chance for the Bucks. That offense did not look like the Red Sox offense, and that's where I was going with that before that big scramble happened. With 8 seconds to go, everybody's going to catch their breath before this face-off.
Oh, that was just a crackle and a half. Crackle, that didn't, not what I meant, but you get what I mean. It was a pile of bodies in front. Puck squirts loose every which way, up, down, left, right, pool, pond. The Bucks get an opportunity out of it, but man.
You know, on that one, when Hoagland got the puck, there was that twinkle in his eye, but push it just wide. This one goes all the way down, and that should kill off the remainder of the period. There'll still be another minute and 12 seconds or so on the other side of the break on the power play, but the second period comes to an end. And if you would have asked for it any other way, the Bugs and Brahmas scoreless after 40.
Again, no, we mentioned, I mean, I even mentioned in the last period, wanted to see more physicality. Well, it's happened. Now, that being said, I'd also like to see some goals from the Bucks, of course, but that being said, 14-8 in total shots. So, I mean, again, you can't hate it. But at the same time, by the way, Zach, looking at the by-period shot counters, same exact shots from these two teams, and that makes it 14-8 shot totals. And of course, penalty minute-wise, it's even, actually. That's fun.
Yeah, there have not been many penalties in this game, a couple of either side. And again, as we mentioned, except for that one scramble over here, it's been a really calm game. These teams are coming out. And in referee speak, I'll put it this way, they're coming out and they're playing, and they're letting them play. So that is...
oh, that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, that is exactly what we want. Again, these two teams, Brahmas trying to clinch their spot, Bucks trying to keep their season alive. They've playing with some desperation out there. They've had some great shots. That one for Evan Hoagland, he just missed, would have really sent the top off this building. But we are scoreless after 40 minutes as the Sonic Drive-In second intermission show. You sit down with the aforementioned Evan Hoagland. I'm still going to call him Alex from my early days here, but nonetheless, Hoagland is going to be our intermission guest on the other side of the break here on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Shreveport Regional Airport offers more daily flights than any other nearby airport. Daily flights to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas, Denver, and Houston means you're one stop from anywhere in the world. Make the short drive to Shreveport and start your vacation sooner.
Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke-flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
Get ready, Louisiana! Johnny's Pizza House is turning up the heat with our sweet the swamp pizza. Packed with crawfish, shrimp, a taste of crab, andouille sausage, bell peppers, onions, jalapenos, and a blend of Cajun spices, all smothered in delicious mozzarella cheese. It's the perfect bite of the bayou and the perfect meal for any Cajun crave. Try our Cajun Flint or dive into a sweet the swamp pizza bowl. A taste of Louisiana flavor is waiting on you. Let's share a slice today at Johnny's Pizza House.
Hey, Mudbug fans, if you're looking for the perfect spot for a birthday party, corporate event, school trip, or any other private outing, just call us at George's Pond here at Hirsch Coliseum at 318-636-7094 to book your event today. Once again, that's 318-636-7094 here at George's Pond inside Hirsch Coliseum.
This is Brahmas-4 and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Welcome back to the Sonic Drive-In Circuit Intermission Show, delivered to you by our friends at the Sonic Drive-In. Sonic Drive-In, this is how we Sonic. Now joining me, Mudbugs-4, number 23, Evan Hoagland. Hoagie, welcome back in.
Thank you.
Of course. Now, of course, tonight is Game 3 of the South Division semifinals against the Lone Star Brahmas. Game 1 and 2, well, like I told Duke Gerhard back in the first intermission, game that Bugs fans wish to forget. But that being said, like he said, actually, memory of a goldfish.
Yep.
So, that being said, Hoagie, coming into tonight, what's the report on these Lone Star Brahmas after those two past games? I'm a little bit of a hypocrite when I say that, but that being said, you have to build off the bad to get to the good. But what's the report on these Lone Star Brahmas after the last two games?
You know that they play physical and then they like to get pucks deep and get a lot of skin on their guys, so they make it tough for us.
Absolutely, and kind of an underrated element. And I was just thinking about this as we were walking over here. The fans in the NYTEX Sports Center, as well as here at George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum, I feel like make a difference, no?
Yeah, the energy definitely makes a lot of difference.
Absolutely. And speaking of energy, of course, wow, the fans here at George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum have their rally towels. But do you have anything to say for those watching at home? Sorry. That was assistant coach Brett Smith coming in and wanting to crash the interview. But Hoagie, back to the question. For those who are not here, and obviously wanting to get here for a potential Game 4, anything you got to say to them?
Hopefully we bring it to them and, show us some support.
Absolutely. I know it's kind of a weird way to formulate that, but don't get me wrong, Hoagie. I think everybody in this building wants that. But moving on, Hoagie, what's been going on with you lately? Both in and out of the rink, really, and I'm wanting to know.
Not much, just getting ready for Game 3 here and just been training a lot.
Absolutely. Now, Hoagie, that being said, and this is a subject I really don't ever want to talk about because you want to keep moving, but what's the plan after the season for you?
I'll take a couple weeks off, hang out with my buddies when I go back home, and then I'll work and start training again for the next season.
Nice. Nice. So keeping it simple, almost. Now, that being said, Hoagie, I actually have a little bit of a personal thing, at least to you. The Kennedys stopped me a couple weeks ago and told me that your grandfather listens to all my broadcasts, and believe me, I appreciate that. Of course, if John Lane is listening out there, hello. And Hoagie, you got anything to say to him?
Oh, he's just been a great support for me, giving it to me there and there, and yeah.
Nice. Keep it nice, short, and simple, which brings me to my next point. What do you think the game plan is for you guys, coming in against these Lone Star Brahmas, for you guys?
I think we just got to find our game like we played against Corpus, get pucks deep, get more to the net, and just fight in there and get to the dirty areas.
It's funny, I always like to watch teams, during their pregame warm-ups and stuff pregame skates rather. One thing I noticed about Lone Star when I was watching them this morning, they also like to get to the dirty goals. It seems like this division loves them some dirty goals.
Oh, yeah.
But that being said, Hoagie, just a couple more questions, and then I'm going to let you get going here. The first one being, what's been the best part for you for this entire season?
Definitely hanging out with the boys outside the rink and doing fun stuff. A lot of us go golfing and chasing aces and stuff like that.
Nice. I was about to say, but for you personally, any moments that stand out, anything like that?
Definitely playing cards with my billets every night.
Nice.
Eating dinner with them, yeah.
Nice. Okay. Let's say, any particular card game that your billets are a fan of?
12-step rummy.
12-step rummy?
Yeah.
You know what? I will have to ask them about that. I pass them by every time I go up to the press box, so I'll have to ask them about that. Now, Hoagie, speaking of remembering things, what's been the best thing on the ice this season about this team, and what's been the best, what was the best game for you that you can remember of this season?
My best game was definitely my hat trick against New Mexico in front of a sold-out crowd at home, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, that was a really fun game.
Yeah.
That was one of the more fun ones, I think. Inside Georgia Spawn at Hirsch Coliseum. Now, Hoagie, I meant to ask you this a couple times we talked. When hockey is eventually over for you, and obviously that's a long, long, long time, what's in the cards, or what do you want to do after hockey?
One of my dad's buddies is a detective, and he said he would take me under his wing and show me, so I thought that would be pretty cool.
Hoagland, PI. You know what?
Yeah.
I could see. Which, by the way, speaking of your last name, I've heard it 6 different ways, and I know it's weird to be asking about this in April, but is it Hoagland, Hogland? How is it?
Hoagland, yeah.
It is Hoagland.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not losing my mind. Me and Zach aren't losing my mind. All right. Well, Hoagie, last question for you, then I'm going to let you get going. And that question is, what is the game plan for you, Evan Hoagland, coming in tonight against these Lone Star Brahmas?
Just carrying the puck up more and getting more shots and hopefully finding back in the net.
Absolutely. Well, Hoagie, thank you for joining me here on this Sonic Drive-In second intermission show. It's always good to talk to you, buddy. Look forward to, obviously, tonight and hopefully getting that Game 4. And finally, any further words on your end?
No, thanks for having me.
Of course, buddy. Always good to talk to you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Evan Hoagland. And as always, we'll be back here on this Sonic Drive-In second intermission show. You're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey here on NATV and the Bugs Broadcast Network. We'll be back in a moment.
Congratulations! You kept a plant alive another day. You deserve a refreshing reward. Introducing new Whataburgers from Whataburger. You finally returned a text. Thumbs up emoji. You hung up a shirt. You changed a light bulb. You walked the dog around the whole block. Attaboy, it's treat time. The new prickly pear raspberry Whatafresher from Whataburger.
An icicle treat for every small feat. What a burger.
Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
For the big, small, short, tall. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
Hey, this is Tyler Hodges, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Welker. Now let's get back to the action.
Two periods in the books here tonight from Shreveport, and nobody has broken the scoreboard quite yet. We've remained scoreless here in the second intermission. Welcome in back into the Sonic Drive-In second intermission show delivered to you by Sonic. This is how you Sonic. Let's take a look at out-of-town scoreboard before we get things set for you in the third period. The Rochester Junior Americans fell to the Northeast Generals 4-3 despite outshooting the Generals 29-25. It was a crazy third period. So that game was 1-0 Generals going into the third period. Each team scored 3 goals to make 4-3 the final. Fairbanks in Wisconsin, a horrible travel scenario, if I do say so myself. 2-0 Fairbanks on top with 2.5 minutes to go in the third period there. The Ice Dogs out shooting the Wendigo as well, 25-23. Austin and Watertown tied at 3 going into the third period there. Aberdeen, the Wings, Charlie Bertrand's former team, trailing 4-1 with 3 minutes left to go in the second period to the Bismarck Bobcats, but they still have some time. They're out shooting the Bobcats 24-17, but give up 3 goals in that opening period. One game still yet to get underway, the Minnesota Wilderness and the Anchorage Wolverines. So another crazy travel schedule. Minnesota and Anchorage getting underway at 7:30 p.m. That is Alaska time. And for those of you wondering, we talked about it was 3,300 miles from Fairbanks to Wisconsin. Minnesota to Anchorage comes in driving distance-wise. Of course, they probably flew. But if they didn't fly, that comes in at 3,000 miles. So a little bit shorter. 52-hour drive all through Canada. That is a crazy travel schedule. We'll take the South Division where the longest trip is 14 hours. That would be from here to both New Mexico and El Paso. Speaking of New Mexico and El Paso, those two are finally underway. They played the opening 20 minutes there. They are scoreless. The Ice Wolves out shooting the Rhinos 11-5. And a crazy first period of penalties there. Already 24 penalty minutes between the two teams after the first period. A lot of roughing minors. Looks like an all-out brawl at the end of the period, by the way. Sean Smith, Jeremy Sprung, Damon Bickler, Ethan Wolcott, Tommy Shore, and Camden Kaiser all got roughing penalties in that game, or in that little sequence there at the end of the first. So tensions flaring out in El Paso. Interestingly enough, the tensions have not flared here at any point. They had that one tiny little scrum. Other than that, everybody stayed relatively off of the penalty chart here in Shreveport. We'll take one final time out here on the Sonic Drive-In second intermission report. On the other side, it's third period action in Game 3. We're scoreless after 2. That comes your way next on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Hey, Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata & Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata & Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case, or visit them online at defatapi.com.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Fighter Play Specialties is a proud corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Fireplace, gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mantles and grills. They've got it all. They're located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Once again, that's fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties is your fireplace headquarters.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Hey, Mudbug fans, if you're looking for the perfect spot for a birthday party, corporate event, school trip, or any other private outing, just call us at George's Pond here at Hirsch Coliseum at 318-636-7094 to book your event today. Once again, that's 318-636-7094 here at George's Pond inside Hirsch Coliseum. Hey, Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker. Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke-flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
Hey, this is Mitchell Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Welker. Now let's get back to the action. Claws up.
All righty, welcome back into the Sonic Drive-In second intermission show. As always, driven by Sonic Drive-In. This is how you Sonic. Scoreless after two periods between the Bugs and the Brahmas in Game 3 of the South Division semifinals. We'll set the table for you if you're just joining us. The Mudbugs need a victory here this evening to stay alive. A Brahmas win would clinch their spot in the South Division Finals to take on the winner of New Mexico and El Paso. By the way, the Rhinos also going for the sweep tonight against the Ice Wolves. They're scoreless after one out there in the desert. So the Bugs are looking to stay alive if the Bugs win tonight by scoring a goal and taking a victory in the third period. Tickets for tomorrow's game at George's Pond will go on sale immediately following the game. 7:11 p.m. puck drop here tomorrow night at George's Pond if the Mudbugs pull out the victory here this evening. And then, of course, thinking down the road, if necessary, Game 5 will be in Lone Star on Monday night, a 7 p.m. puck drop there. Of course, you can always catch the action here on our Mudbugs YouTube audio stream or on NATV. I want to thank everybody for tuning in with us here this evening, and for those of you who've tuned in with us all season long, we're glad to have you tagging along one more time, at least in the 2025-26 campaign, as we about to start a scoreless third period. And not much of a game recap with how the things have gone, but we'll take a look now. The Mudbugs out shooting the Brahmas 14-8, a low offensive battle thus far. The Bugs have outshot the Brahmas 7-4 in both the first and the second period. Again, the total being 14-8. Each team 0 for 3 on the power play. 6 penalty minutes aside. And I guess it's not technically true quite yet, as the Bugs still have some time on their third power play. It's an Eric Alexander high sticking penalty. Came in the final 48 seconds of that second period. So the Bugs will have 1 minute and 12 seconds on the man advantage to start off the third. As the rally towels are flying out in full force here at George's Pond. The crowd on their feet trying to rally the guys to an early third period goal. I hear again in a scoreless game. Zach Grant with you. Duncan Walker will be joining me a little bit later on once again here in this third period. Everybody looks huddled up down there for the Brahmas. Off the bench to our right, the Mudbugs start to huddle around assistant coach Brett Smith, head coach Jason Soupy Campbell, and again, the Brahmas are down a coach tonight. Head coach Dan Wildfawn, the former Mudbug and longtime Brahmas head coach, is unfortunately dealing with his father passing away earlier this week, so he is with family dealing with that. So again, if he is somehow listening to us, which I assume, of course, he's listening to Chad and Frank over on the Brahmas stream, but if he is, we do want to wish his family all the best and send our condolences to Dan Wildfong as he deals with the passing of his father, not in attendance here this weekend. So they are led by Logan Murphy tonight. The teams that flip side, we're about ready to go. Bucks will skate left to right in the white tops and the black pants here in the third and final frame of regulation. It's a scoreless game, 0-0. Bucks are going to be on the power play for 1 minute and 12 seconds once they drop the puck, and it looks like now the referees are over talking with assistant coach Brett Smith of the Bucks. They had an ice issue they were working on during the intermission. So we'll see if that is still what they are discussing here as the ice crew heads back out on the ice before we start this third period. Looks like there's something going on in the net as well. They're working on the ice down there behind the crease. So referee gonna go watch over there. Ethan Phillips also looks like they're squeegeeing out some excess water there along the net. It's a warm day in Shreveport. It's 85 degrees today and humid, as Louisiana tends to be. It's always interesting this time of year at every level of hockey in the South, seeing what the ice conditions might be with the increased heat and humidity outside. Same goes even at the lower levels of the minor leagues. In my time in ECHL in Orlando, I know the Solar Bears, even despite playing in an NBA arena with all the resources possible, they had some ice issues at the later part of the season and during any of their playoff runs. So looks like whatever has been solved. The signal coming from the referee, Dawson Black. He's got the puck in hand. Evan Oakland lines up across from 55 in black. That's McFadden for the Brahmas, and we are underway here in the third period. We're scoreless. Bucks on the power play for another minute and 5 seconds. They have an abbreviated man advantage here after closing out the first 48 seconds. In the second, immediately cleared out over the stick of the point man. Gerhard back out to center ice. John Byrne tracks it down now for Hoagland along the right board. Fired in, goes off of Dampoose, and he's limping there as the puck went out of play for a stoppage here. 24 seconds into a scoreless third period. Glad to have everybody tune in with us on NATV or on the Mudbugs Audio Network. This third period, as always, by the way, powered by Delta Utilities. Know what's below. Call 811 at least 48 hours. Call 811 at least 48 hours prior to doing any projects. Delta Utilities know what's below, as well as tonight's title partner, Borders and Test Show. They've been delivering a difference for Mudbugs hockey, locally owned and operated for over 50 years, providing uniforms, formats, and facility services for your company. Bugs on the power play for 30 seconds. They play catch in neutral waters. Now they work back into their own zone. It's John Byrne with it on the near side circle. Carries it ahead on his righty stick. Snaps it for Tremblay and over the line for Grayson. Gerhard hits it, breaks at the right point. He's got the puck. Now walks towards the middle. Throws it down low for Tremblay. In the corner. Wraps it around the end wall. Over to Lockero's stick. Far side. Scanlon's going to win the race to it against Hoagland. And Hoagland's got a pinch and to keep it alive for the Bugs in the offensive zone. Tremblay along the end boards once more. Bugs have it. 5 seconds to go on the power play. Up top for John Byrne. He almost mishandled it at the blue line, but he saves it again. Down low for Hoagland. Touch pass into the corner for Gerhard. The stick of Tremblay back for Grayson. Throws it out in front and lofted it over everybody. And the Brahmas, it's Alexander down to a knee, will poke it out. Phillips going to have to come all the way out to the circles to play it on the clearing attempt that time by the Brahmas. And Wildfong was all alone in front. Now the Bugs carry it over the line again. Gerhard at the right point, tries to lose the defender. Now drops it off down low for Earhart, and he turned it over at the blue line for Oliver. Duke gets it right back and fires it off for the board. Goes off of the lines, but only gets to the circles. Lucy eventually tracks it down. The Brahmas will start the breakout, moving right to left out of their own zone. Icing is washed out. Lucier tracks it down along the far side boards up to the right point. Sent down low off of the corner. Around the skates of the referee, Liam Wolf Tomley picks up the loose puck. Starts up the near side of the net. Tries to split the D. Lost the puck. Remy will race after the loose biscuit that time. Up the wall for Reed. To center ice is Griner. Throws it toward the middle for Vinny Giulio. He streaks across the line. Tried to drop it off to the point. Nobody was home, but the Brahmas going to push the tempo 4-on-2. Carried over the line by Lucier. Up top for Murray. Murray cutting towards the net. Couldn't get a clean shot away. Mitchell Reed will track down the loose puck. Takes the check in the corner, though. Flips it up the wall. Bucks will send it cross ice to the far side where Adams has on his stick. Up the shot of the boards. He'll dump it in over the Brahmas blue line towards the net as Nazarene will pick up the loose puck for Lone Star. We're scoreless here in the third, 17-20 and rolling here in the final frame of regulation. These two teams, by the way, hold the record for the longest playoff game in North American Hockey League history. This is going to be an offside. Just a few years ago, Lone Star and Shreveport went 4 overtimes, and the way this thing has gone here tonight, we might see that again. Hopefully not. The long night. And with all the NHL Stanley Cup playoff games going double overtime, we don't need 4 overtimes here. But it is possible in a scoreless game with 17:15 to go. This time I throw that out there and let it sit, see what happens. Face-off coming up at center ice. Front of the Brahmas bench, far side. Hoagland's in to take the draw. And he wins it, but the puck squirts over to the near wall where Evan Adams has to corral it back into his own zone. Evans got it, almost mishandled the pass back to him. Now it's intercepted by McFadden at center. Pokes it left side for Vate. Vate hits the trail on the side. Isaacson at point blank range. Phillips stepped in front of it. He took it off his helmet and it's out of play. What another great stop for Ethan Phillips. My, oh my, that kid's been solid. 1.50 goals against, 957 save percentage. The Providence College commit has been solid. He's won 6 of his last 8. His last start, of course, was that 4-1 loss against Lone Star in Game 1, but one of those goals wasn't even his fault. It was an own goal off the back of Evan Adams on the clearing attempt. Looks like Scalen's going to get tossed out of the ozone draw. Vladimir Sable, rather, to take it. Sable's the leading scorer in the playoffs, 6 points for him. So he ties, that's for the Brahmas, of course, and then for the Bugs, he ties 2 skaters with, actually one skater with 6 is John Burnt, 2 is 7 is Gerhard and Earhart. They've been held off the board here thus far tonight, 16:48 and rolling here in period number 3. Back and forth battle, scoreless thus far. Goaltenders have been big, and Ventusinque carried it back in over the line. That is offside. Another zone, or neutral zone draw coming up just outside of the Bugs end, right in front of the Shreveport bench. The white tops with the red numbers, black pants here this evening. We're hoping to see the purple, but we got the white. So a little bit of a break from the purple at home. Vinny DiUlio in to take the draw. He'll line up across from McFadden. These two have been going at it last couple of games, and Vinny gets the better of him here as he wins the faceoff back into the Bugs end for Remy. Good D-to-D for Mitchell Reed. Cycles out the circles. Back across for Remy now. Up the center of the ice. He carries it across the Bugs blue line to center ice. From the red line, he dumps it in backhanded. Icing is washed out. He gained the line. Cray out of his net to play behind the Brahmas net. Far side Bates. Knocked off the puck. Bugs get it right back. It's Remy into the offensive zone. Works below the goal line. Tries to get around 2 defenders. On the near corner, he's shoved along the boards there. Lost the puck, but it bounced free for Griner, who sent it back behind the cage. Remy got hauled down almost by Alexander. Puck wraps around the near side kick plate. Isaacson sent it below the goal line. Bugs almost forced the turnover again. Griner takes a high stick from DiUlio, and the puck comes all the way back down. Over the stick of the point man. Here's Isaacson. Isaacson on alone. He blasted it wide. Almost had a breakaway, and he sent it wide to Phillips, who didn't even have to make the save, but he was in great position to do so anyway, as Mitchell Reed holds on to it here in this third period. 15:40 left to go in a scoreless game as John Burnt will wrap it over the blue line. Brady Cray mishandled it behind the net. Giveaway. Hoagland fired one. Couldn't get to the net. Adradine stepped in front of it. Earhart forces a turnover. High slot. His drive through traffic. It's deflected to the near wall. Picked up by Lone Star and they'll float it out to center ice. Lexell watches it to his stick. Lexell tries to split the lead. Lost the puck as he gets hit back to center ice. Nazarene will fire it in. Brahmas will tag back up. Bugs get it back in their own zone. 15-12 and rolling here in the third. On the near corner, it's Wildfong. Wraps it around the boards. Tavares knocked off stride that time by Earhart. Threw it out in front, top shelf. They score. It's Lexell on the doorstep. And after 45 minutes, somebody has scored first. It's the Brahmas. It's Gustav Lexell, his first goal of the playoffs on a giveaway in front. And the Brahmas needing one win to move on. Have a 1-goal lead. It's 1-0.
Well, I've said it a million times before, and I'll say it a million times again. The turnovers are what lose a hockey game. It's a blunt statement can be, but it's evident right down there. Philly's been standing on his head all night, and when you give a turnover like that, especially in point-blank range, it just is heartbreaking. That being said, though, still 15:03 left, but you got to get rolling here, Bugs.
As you mentioned, 2 great saves for Phillips on that same possession. And the Bucks can't clear. Now it's Lucier behind the cage. Offensive zone for the Brahmas. Up top to Locker's drive as Phillips got knocked down that time. Mitchell Reed, or Evan Adams rather, knocked somebody down behind the play that looks like might be Murray. Now back the other way. The Bucks charge into the zone. On the near side wall, knocked off the puck. And Roberts took a stick to the side of the head that time. He's slow to head off to the bench. Far corner, it's Gerhard trying to get around 2 Brahmas. Spins off a check at the left hash mark. Tap along the wall. Sakrisky in there for some help. He's being held on to by Lucier. 5-car pile up over there. 14-22 and rolling. No longer scoreless. 1-0 Brahmas. Gustav Lexell with the goal. And Lone Star will work it back out to center ice. It comes for Capano. Left side, up the wing, in over the line. Capano throws the reverse hit on Adams, and the puck squirts free to Willie Tremblay. So Evan was not able to complete the check, but he forced the turnover, and that's the important part. As the Bugs will carry it to center and dump it in and head off for some fresh bodies out there. Cray off to the left of his net, leaves it off in the corner. Picked up behind the cage now by Vladimir Sable. Sable up the far side wing, back out to center. Retacinque spins on top of the puck, and this is going to be icing as Remy is going to beat everybody to the puck by a few strides and bring it 200 feet and all the way back down.
As you heard with Robert J. Wright, all licensed decisions are brought to you by our friends at Louder Baking Company. That's Louder Baking Company, one of the newest, but one of the most friendliest and tending to be loyalist corporate partners here with the Shreveport Mudbugs.
Charlie Birchfield back out to take the draw here. He's had a quiet night thus far. Haven't seen him as much, and he hasn't been the physical nature we've seen from him the last, well, 2 months or so since joining the Bucks. They're going to need that fire down by a goal with 13:38 left in a do-or-die Game 3 here in the South Division semifinals. The Bucks force a turnover. Here's Adams down to the bottom of the circle, being harassed off the puck by Alexander. He spun down, now throw it out in front. Jasser was on the doorstep, but couldn't get it to him cleanly as Sable will pick up the loose puck. Into 3-on-2 as the Brahmas push the pace. Sable drops it off. Retacinque, he fires one through the blue paint. Phillips got a piece of it. Dampu slides it down low for Scanlon. He tried to throw it across, and Tremblay with an outstretched stick just barely gets a piece of it. Sends it behind the cage. Willie's got it to the near side. Spins off of Scanlon and now settles down behind the cage, looking to get all the puzzle pieces in place. So the Bugs will start it up to center. Jasser backhands up the wall for Adams. Icing is washed off. Brahmas played. Here's Nazardine. Nazardine at the circles they go. 12:50 and rolling here in the third. Dumped ahead by Vates, stolen away by Vinny Diulio on open ice, and he'll loft it into the zone and give chase. Cray stands on top of the crease to play it, slides it around the boards, comes far side now, where it's picked up by 77 in black and purple. That's Vates. Now Nazardine in over the line, carries it into the zone, knocked off the puck that time as it bounces free for Reed. Across the ice now, near side, Case plays to Karam off the wall for Griner, and then Griner on a clearing attempt hit Nazardine in the face as he grabs the face with the cage in front of him, and then Wolf Talby gets his feet taken out from under and from behind, and referee signaling over to the Bugs bench that he got the puck and not the feet, as McFadden will dump it down into the Bugs zone. Reed will play it back out to center ice. Brahmas pick it back up, go D at their own blue line. Nazardine almost overskates it, plays the loose puck off of the board. Griner throws the body on him, puck squirts down to center, and Hoagland rifles it in deep. Comes far side for Sakrisky, who wins the race to it, but he can't save it in the zone. Bugs got some fresh bodies out there. Now they go D at their own blue line. It's John Burnt, carries it to center ice, and now the referee goes down in front of the play. That's what you hear the raucous cheer for as the puck comes down in the corner. Eventually won by Alexander Oliver. Cycles it around far side. Now Nazardine whiffs on a clearing attempt. Sakrisky for Earhart on the goal line. Rebound for Hoagland. Couldn't poke it in back door. Back up top, Burnt saved that his shot deflected through traffic. Comes back far side. Nice cross-ice feed for Burnt. He hesitates in the slot, thrown towards the net by Sakrisky. Bounces off the boards. Chase gets it back. Left circle, slides up to the left point. They shot through traffic. Trickles just barely towards the net. Backhanded out by the Brahmas. Wildfong can't play it. Held in. Here's Owen Case. Big drive and a hand pass called on the Bugs. Stops time with the Brahmas rather stops time at 11:10 as Wildfong is slow to get up that time. What a chance for the Bugs to get the initial shot, and then Earhart almost recreated his goal from Saturday. And then John Byrne had a great chance as well, but Cray stands tall again.
Oh, absolutely. Just once again, Duke Earhart trying to get that goal. Diamond Duke Earhart trying to get a goal in any way he can. And I'll be honest, Jack, a lot of people underestimate Duke Earhart. And, well, you know, it's weird. He's one of the leading point scorers. But in saying that, though, it's hard. It shouldn't be hard to underestimate. But I'll leave those thoughts when we come back from break. You're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey here on NATV and the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Hey fan, this is William Tremblay and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Radio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Walker. Now let's get back to the action. Let's go Bugs.
Crowd making their noise here, trying to rally the guys. The rally towels out flying in George's Pond as the Bugs find themselves down by a goal with 11-10 to go and a must-win Game 3 to stay alive. And ozone draw coming up for the Bugs after a hand pass was called on the Brahmas. Hoagland to win it back, but it's eventually tied up and won by Liam O'Keefe, who wraps it around the board. Jackson Vates has it on his stick, and he carries it up the near side board. Dumped ahead, and icing is just barely washed off by Isaacson that time. The Brahmas win the race here. Here's O'Keefe at the left point. His shot blocked away in traffic. Hoagland was calling for it, but the Bugs couldn't get it cleanly, and it goes back all the way to the Shreveport end. Owen Case has to go over his stick. John Burnt picks it up behind the cage. Now slides it off to his right for Owen. Owen skates through center. Swings it off to the right for Hoagland. Hoagland from the blue line dumps a shot on net. Cray almost misplayed that one as Earhart battles two Brahmas. Gets some help now from Sakrisky in there on McFadden. Tied up along the wall. Duke's got it in his skates. 10.5 and rolling here in the third period. Bucks trail 1-0 on the Lexell goal. Coming 5 minutes into this period as Isaacson's got the loose puck. He carries it up the near side wing, gets hauled down. No penalty call upcoming. And now it's played up ahead. Brahmas into the zone. Nice move there. Shot kick save that time by Phillips. Deflects over to the near side wall. Picked up by John Burnt behind his net. Bucks got to get something going offensively here as Chase Sakrisky moves up the far side wing. Cuts through the middle logo. Trying to get around 5 in black, that's Alexander. Shoves him along the wall. Puck bounces up the wall to center ice, and Sakrisky still in the battle that time with Alexander. Now all the way back in the Bug zone. Jared Griner leaves it off in front of his net for Evan Adams. Adams up the near side wing, carries it across his own blue line. Now backpedals to center, up ahead, just barely onside. Shot from the left point, stopped by Gray, and he hangs on for a whistle. And now we've got some extracurriculars of Sable and Scanlon. Get testy that time with 9:39 left here in the third.
Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey, as always, is brought to you by friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings, wings, beer, sports. As Tristan Hill, by the way, up here in the booth to the left of us, tries to get this George's Pond crowd rallied around. I really like the rally style, Zach. I know it's kind of over repeated, but I just love them. And well, there you go.
And that looks like Birchfield's going to get tossed out by Tygo O'Brien, the linesman back here neutral. So we'll see who ends up coming in to take it. It looks like Griner's got to cycle into the left face-off dot. 9:39 left in the third. Bucks trail by a 1. And they won it back for Birchfield, but Capano eventually steals it away. It's wrapped around the boards. Back up towards the blue line. Adams can't save it. Back to center. It's turned and fired in that time by 89 in black and purple. That's Nathan Murray. Gives it far side now as Birchfield steals it away. Tries to slide it softly up the boards for Griner, but Birchfield knocked down, still battling for it. Bounces free for Evan Adams up the near side board. Triangulates off of the wall. O'Keefe steals it away at the blue line. Goes on towards the net for Mitchell Reed. Off to the far side now. Birchfield slides it ahead on the breakout play. Up to center ice. Brought in over the line. Here's Gerhardt down the right wing. Tried to hit Griner once again. Cray will grab it and then stop. And then Griner starts throwing some right hands as they all kind of tango. Looks like the Bucks are, I would imagine, going to be short-handed here as Jared Griner started throwing some nasty rights that time after the whistle. The linesman stepped in trying to get the stick free. Birchfield also in there. He's having a discussion with Wildfong. The defensemen stay out on patrol. 9:01 to go. We'll see. The referee, I think, gave a signal, and I think Unfortunately, the Bugs might end up short, although Grinder's going to the box, or going to the bench rather, but the referee did give the signal, but looks like nothing coming.
No, and that's a good thing, especially if you can avoid a penalty like that with this much time left in the game, 9:01. And, that's a good thing because, believe me, it's getting testy out here. And, I mean, you're fighting for your season, Zach. There's nothing really more else to say. You're fighting for your season against a team that is a little chippy and a little physical sometimes. Well, I say at times, but that being said, I like that we at least somewhat kept our composure, but didn't let up either.
We're judging by that spirited discussion during the interval between play. Brahmas captain Max Salakro does not agree with your assessment of that one.
No, well.
It's played all the way back into the Bugs' end, and then getting hauled down that time was Case. Now it bounces free for Jonah Jasser. 8:40 to go here in the third period. Bugs trail 1-0. Gotta get a goal against the Brahmas. The offense has looked great. They've had some great chances, but just haven't been able to get it past Cray. Bounces off the wall for Tremblay. Had to hesitate to get into the zone. Now Owen Case can't save it. Linesman said they're offside. And meanwhile, Scanlon brings it back the other way. Drops it off Isaacson. Isaacson shot through traffic. Phillips steps in front of it. Moves off to his right. Now Roberts slides it across center for Jasser. Jasser tried to split the knee. Delayed call. That's going to be slashing on the Brahmas. Here's John Burt. He fired one through traffic. That goes over the net. Now Tremblay in front from a knee. Got knocked down. He got a shot away, but it's covered up. But nonetheless, with 8:08 to go, down a goal, the Bugs are going to go up a man on the slashing call. Coming on Lone Star, it's Vladimir Sable, the guilty party.
So, I'm going to be honest, Zach, there's not really much else you can say in this situation. Bugs fans are getting pumped up on this Scott Powerline power play. But to repeat myself a dozen times and a dozen times more, we have to get something going. Play smart, but still get something going, especially with 8:08, fighting for your season. I really don't know what else can be said there on that. Believe me, I want to try to come up with something, but that's just a simple long end, front, short of it.
So here we go, power play attempt number 4 for the Bugs. They're 0 of 3 and 0 for their last 11. This would be a good time to get one here to tie it up. John Burnt softly fires it, rebound, comes off the side of the cage, picked up by Earhart, slides along the far side boards up to the point, stick down by Tremblay. Now for Gerhardt, right side, back up top for Willie. Willie one-time drive, kick save Cray. Bounces far side for Hoagland, back up top for Willie. Slides it right for Burnt. Burnt softly back for Willie, feeds it down low for Gerhardt. Got tipped on the way to him. Too many passes here for the Bugs. Got to throw shots on net. Here's Burnt, top of the right circle, up top. Now Gerhardt gets it back, right point, back up top for Burnt. One-time drive. Willie gets the rebound. He's robbed by Cray, who gloves it down out of the butterfly. The Bugs set it up perfectly. Willie Tremblay had a grade A chance, but it stays a 1-0 game. My, oh my.
Seems to just be the theme of the night, does it? Bugs have a good chance. Brady Cray stops them dead in the tracks. Now that being said, you want to produce more opportunities like that, and we need to produce more opportunities like that.
Yeah, that was another one well set up by this power play unit. And this power play unit's taken a lot of flack this year, especially being 0 for 11. But, I mean, every power play tonight, they've had a chance just like that one. Here's Roberts. Up top for Case. High slot. He fired one. Chasser couldn't poke home at point-blank range. Somebody's stick went flying. Looks like 4 in black. That's Oliver. Now up top. Left point for Case. Snaps at Roberts. Right point. His shot deflected by the Brahmas. Goes on net. And Cray will make the stop with 54 seconds to go on the power play. At 7:01 left to go in the third.
Shreveport Mudbugs hockey. Zach, brought to you by our friends at Down Home Meats. You know, Zach, it's funny. I met with a representative from Down Home Meats the other day who was delivering some of that delicious sausage from the Stonewall, Louisiana area. And I mean, it's true what they say. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke flavored sausage.
Garrett's pass for John Burnt goes off the edge of his stick. Race for it. Goes out of play into the Brahmas bench. Ozone draw coming up for the Bugs once more with 46 seconds to go on the power play. But again, I'm not sure what else you can say about this power play unit. They've had the chances tonight. They have set them up well. Tremblay had a great chance. Hoagland down here in the second period. I think Duke had a great chance on the power play as well. Just got to find the back of the net. Here's John Burt. His shot deflected in front by Capano, and he is limping back to the bench. A hard slap shot from Johnny Burt. Would not want to take one from him. The 50-point man this season. He crossed the half-century mark. Dumped in by Gerhard. Goes behind the cage for Talacro. Dances around the defender. Now Wildfong tries to chip it out, and they do so successfully. They lift it all the way back down. And now Scanlon wins the foot race. Goes on net through the blue paint. His shot knocked aside. He wants the penalty. Not going to get one here with 6:20 to go. Bugs on a power play for 10 more seconds. Here's Hoagland into the zone. Drops it off for Burt. Burt's drive. Hit iron, I think. It sounded like it. That goes off of the boards. Burt gets it back at the right point. Down low for Tremblay. Up top, left point now. Gerhard fired one through traffic. Got his own rebound. He fires another one on a doorstep. Bugs can't poke it home. Man out of the box is Sable. He's got a breakaway the other way. Sable in all alone. Lost it. Gets it back. Backhand shot. Stopped by Phillips. He stays with it to his left and keeps it a one-goal game. Here's McFadden in the slot. Right circle. Up top, Isaacson. He whiffed on it. That could have almost been an odd man rush for the Bugs the other way. Sable gets it back in the far corner. Up top for Isaacson. Isaacson cycled around the kick plate. Bugs get it right back. Flipped out to center ice just barely towards the red line. What a great stop by Ethan Phillips. And both goaltenders showing out really all series. But another great one there with 5.5 to play. 1-0. Brahmas on top. Bugs need to get a victory to stay alive here tonight in the South Division semifinals. Behind the goal line, picked up by Sable. Thrown out towards, and a great play on defense by Earhart. He's going to poke it, and he's going to race after it with Nazardine. Cray's got to play it. Feeds it off for Dampoose now. Up the far side boards. Tavares spins off of Wolf Talby, then plays it back out to center. Owen Case holding it before he gets across the red line. Buck's got some fresh bodies out there. Puck to squirts, and a big hit that time delivered in a near side corner. Now it's played along the wall at the right hash marks, tied up there. 4:50 to go. Crowd wanting a holding call from the referee, and well, you're going to need a felony at this point to get a penalty with 4:45 left in a decisive playoff game. It's Wolf Talby at the right hash marks, down low for Grider. Now we're going to get a penalty away from the play from the back referee and a bug. So I lied. I guess you don't need a felony to get a penalty. As Birchfield's going to go sit, and he's going to yell all the way, "Don't take a penalty, Charlie. It's not worth it." And he's screaming at the referee. He knows what's on the line. He's about to get a 10-minute misconduct, and he just got kicked out. So the Bugs are going to be without. And then some fan threw a bottle from the seats. Lauren Keith over there, and the rest of the security team going to take care of that really quickly, as a soda bottle got thrown out of the stands by a fan at the referee. It was a questionable call, but we don't want to be doing things like that.
No, not. I'm going to keep my mouth shut on that. But I will say this before I go silent. You don't want to do that for two reasons. One, disrespectful to not only, well, firstly, you don't want to cause your team more penalties. Right. The second thing is this referee crew has not been doing the worst job. I mean, they've been calling it back and forth. They've let these guys play, and that's just a disrespectful thing there. Believe me, I love our fans, but I do not want our fans to be trashed like many have done, because that is not Shreveport Mudbugs hockey, and I will say that to the bank.
Well, yes, it could also be a penalty, as you mentioned. Again, like you said, it's disrespectful not only to the league, but the whole organization, and really the sport of hockey as well. So,
good news is it was taken care of
ugly sights here. Now the Bud's going to be shorthanded for half of regulation, down a goal. So think for carries, and here's Earhart, almost going to have an odd man rush. He's on a low, can't corral it. Killian gets hauled down as he lost the puck. It's not going to get a call, and now it's going to go back the other way. Lone Star. Talacro into the zone, swings it left for Sable. Sable down to the corner. Talacro wraps it around the board. Remy picks up the loose puck, far corner. He gets knocked down on top of the puck. Far wall, played by the Brahmas. It's Alexander, feeds it in the middle. Vates missed it wide. Rebound for Talacro, goes off the side of the net. And the Boo Bird's going to come out here at George's Pond with 4 minutes to go. The fans know what's on the line here. Goes wrapped around the board. Jackson Vates will race after the loose puck along the near side hash marks. Duke Earhart picks it up, spins off of Vates. Now he's got the puck through traffic. Duke up the shadow of the boards near side to center. He hits the brakes and waits for everybody to get on the ice for a change. Now Vinny Gila had to go off the edge of his stick. Vates plays it back down low. Brahmas play it right in front of their bench. Now back into their own zone. It's Dampoose. Minute to go on the kill for the Bugs. 3:35 left to go in the third period in a 1-0 game. Played ahead by the Brahmas. Offside. It draws a whistle, and a neutral zone face-off coming up here a big face-off right here with 3:30 to go. So we'll see here. We got to keep an eye on Ethan Phillips in net as well, because you never quite know what the strategy might be for head coach Jason Soupy Campbell, because the Bugs losing ends it. So the faceoff comes back ahead for Adams. Adams still on the way. Scanlon gets it back far side. Plays it to the middle. It's Stampus through the center circle. Up ahead to the blue line. Owen Kay steals it right back, and he's going to wrap it off the top of the board all the way back down over the stick of a Brahma. That with Oliver all the way back behind the cage. Bugs try to race after it. They're on the kill for 30 seconds. They trail by a goal with 3 minutes to go in a must-win game 3. Oliver through the middle, logo for Scanlon. Scanlon down the slot, works off. Backhanded shot for Oliver on the point blank range, stopped by Phillips. He got a piece of it. Jasper picks up the loose puck, backhands it up through midair. Dampus will glove it down. Now here's Scanlon, left circle, feeds it for McFadden in the slot. Knocked off the puck, Jasper steals it away, and here comes Jonah. The captain with the puck on his stick will rake it off the boards. It's going to go on to the side of the net, and it's covered by Cray for a whistle with 2:40 to go here in the third.
Luckily, 3 seconds left on that, at least on the 2-minute portion of Charlie Bridgefield's penalty, but just a tension-filled night, Zach. I'll be quite honest. It's just been tension back and forth. The fans are tension. We're tension. Just back and forth.
So Lexell, the lone goal thus far, came at the 15:03 mark of this third period. Now the Bugs hanging out defensively. They got to force a turnover here, and they do. Hoagland in the slot, poked away, back out to center ice. Picked up by Wildfong, and he banks it off of the net, just wide of Phillips. Bounces up the wall for Sakrisky. Sakrisky back into the blue line, can't clear it out. High slot, big drive, blasted wide, goes off the window behind the cage. Slipped up the wall, Sakrisky's got it. Bugs got to start working north here with 2 minutes to go. Down by a goal, Wildfong seals it away at center. He dumps it back in, and this is really where things get tough, because you can't pull your goalie if you can't get the puck across center ice. So now the Bugs start to break out for Hoagland, right side. Up ahead, Sakrisky into the zone. Phillips looking for the signal. Sakrisky, backhand shot through the blue paint, knocked wide, and there are no arms up. Not going to get a penalty. Lifted back up. The net came off. That's what the whistle's for. Stops the clock with 1:44, and Jason Soupy Campbell is going apoplectic over there on the Bugs bench with 1:44 to go in the third.
He's not the only one, Zach. Mitch Perron over here, and I'll be honest, myself. I'm a little surprised. I mean, I get it. With 1:44 left, you're not going to get many calls. But as you said, you have to commit a felony at this point. But man, that just looked brutal. Like, believe me, I don't want to harp on these refs because, you know, as I mentioned before, they've been doing a good job. But man, that was.
So Soupy is going to. Looks like he's going to hang on to his timeout for now. Phillips is out of the net, so it's going to be 6-on-5. The rally towels wave at Bugs, trying to keep the season going with 1:44 to go here in the third. And now it looks like the Bugs will take their timeout. We're going to take it with 1:44 to go. 1-0. Bugs trying to mount the comeback to stay alive.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
1:44 to go. Bugs trail by a goal. It's 1-0. The season on the line against the Brahmas here. We're going to get a face-off coming up in the offensive zone. That's why head coach Jason Soupy Campbell has used his timeout. By the way, for those of you listening at home and not watching, Ethan Phillips is out of the net for the face-off. So the Bugs, first things first, are going to have to win the face-off coming up.
Oh, absolutely. It just starts there, winning the face-off. So so luckily everything's been cleared up. The rally towels are still going. The flags are still going. Which, by the way, I'm a big flag guy. I like a good flag waiver or two. But
That's a soccer fan, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've done it before, but that doesn't matter right now. What matters is minute 44 left. Bucks got to get one to at least keep their season alive. Come on.
Off the draw, tied up, Tremblay blew a tire, and Talacro gets the loose puck in the defensive zone, held in by Gerhardt. 95 seconds to go. Bucks trail by a goal. Need one to stay alive. Up top, John Burnt, left point, swings it left for Tremblay now. Willie, back up top for John Burnt, back for Willie, got to take a shot here. Gerhardt, up top, left circle, his shot, rebound, Hoagland can't poke it in, it's still loose along the blue paint. Bugs get it back. Gerhardt, far circle, gave it away to the blue line, and Burnt can't save it. The Bugs have to tag back up. Gerhardt touches it, fires it on net, and lucky the linesman's not going to take the faceoff all the way back down with that intentional play there, but faceoff's going to come just outside of the Bugs end. Minute and 9 seconds ago, and with the neutral zone draw, we'll see if they put Phillips back in.
I mean, I personally would, especially on a team especially against a team that's been relatively inside of the face-off, but I think because it's on the other side of the neutral zone, they're going to keep Phillips in the bench. But got to win the face-off there.
Julio tied up off the draw, and the Brahmas win it from center. It's flipped in the net, and they score. Vladimir Sable continues his hot streak. It's his 7th point of the playoffs, his 3rd goal. And with 1:04 to go, it's 2-0 Brahmas. And it was a good run, but it looks like it's coming to the end for the Bugs.
Unfortunately, yes. And, well, for what it's worth, I'm proud of this team. It's been peaks and valleys for this team, ups and downs, and I'm going to be honest, that's all I can say about it, Zach. I mean, you had to win the face-off there. Bucks did win it, but it went off the skates of a few players in front, and Vladimir Sable was able to get the goal, and do the face-off again.
We're going to do that face-off again here at center ice, so they'll put the second back on to make it back to 1:04. Well, we saw the Bucks score 2 goals in 58 seconds against the Rhinos. Back in El Paso, they're going to need that kind of magic here again, as Julio off the draw went it back for Adams. Now you got to go north and get the goalie pulled. He dumps it in, thrown off the side of the net. Phillips is going to race off to the bench for the extra skater. Roberts up top, left point, shot through traffic, tipped, rebound in the blue paint. Jasser can't poke it home. Jonah gets it back, far wall for 47 seconds to go. Bugs down by 2. Up top, it's Adams, right point. Fires one wide of the net, and now goes off the cage, through the crease, loose, and Cray's going to jump on top of it, and there's going to be a huge scramble. Linesmen step in quickly. Cooler heads prevailing for a moment, and then now Roberts is going to take on the entire Brahmas line. Then behind the play, Jonah Jasser starts throwing right. Now Adams and Scanlon going to get involved, and we've got an all-out Donnybrook here late in the game, and Scanlon and Adams are throwing rights. Meanwhile, Jasser takes a man down, and then Jasser's throwing all kinds of big hooks, knocking a man down by the cage. Linesmen step in. Meanwhile, far side, it looks like Owen Case has a hold of somebody trying to work Isaacson off a man, but all heck is broken loose here with 36 seconds to go. The Bugs season coming to a unpretty end, as now everybody's going to get tied up. Meanwhile, DiUlio and Diampus now are engaged in a battle, as the linesman, or referee Dawson Black, takes Jasser out of the play. Now Vinny's got a hold of Diampus. They're tied up along the wall behind the net. As the fans start throwing things on the ice, don't want to see that either.
Not at all, and Tyson Scanlon in the box with a sweeping motion. Not gonna lie, a little disrespectful from Tyson Scanlon. Sorry if I sounded a little passionate there, but sometimes you have to have grace with these things. But that being said, Zach, it's how do I put this? So, as a wrestling fan, when the bad guy would win, I'll use an Attitude Era motto, for example. Mr. McMahon stands out on top, Corporation stands out on top. You see Stone Cold come out, stuns everybody, goes home, and that's what the Bugs have done tonight. The season's ending. With that being said, go out at least on somewhat of a high note. But
so So Scanlon going at it with some fans here behind the penalty box. Then we've got the phone booths are back. The max occupancy 5 signs are out, and it's going to be close to that as well. So Adams, Jasser, Roberts, now Adams being escorted off. Jasser, Roberts, Julio still sitting. Isaacson, Scanlon, McFadden, and I can't tell who that other one is on the closer to the ice. Looks like Dampoose, possibly 24. So whole bunch of penalties here with 36 seconds, and the game had stayed calm. I thought for a moment there cooler heads were going to prevail, but right as I said that, bedlam.
Well, that's about the best word to describe it, Zach. Bedlam. Speaking of cooler heads. Speaking of cooler heads, I hate to call it my fellow fans and my fellow Mudbug faithful, but especially with these last few seconds of this season, we have to think of the good, and obviously think of the bad, but you have to think of the good this season's done. It's gotten a lot of people, done a lot good for this community. So face-off will come out right in front of the Brahmas bench, but
face-offs at center, 36 seconds left in a 2-goal game, so I don't think much will matter at this point. By the way, out in the desert, New Mexico and El Paso, they were scoreless after 1. Now early in the second, it's already 2-2. So that series is going to go the distance. This is dumped in. A big hit behind the play that time, but the buck got knocked in. It's going to be icing. Everybody steps in quickly on the officiating crew. That's really Tremblay who got knocked down. So now an ozone draw for the Bunks with 31.7. So you win the draw, get a quick goal, make it a 1-goal game. You never know. We've seen crazier things in Lone Star and Shreveport. He's all the way back to the late 90s through professional hockey, now junior hockey. Earhart wins the draw, back towards the blue line. Gerhard fires one, that's tipped aside. Zakriski's going to win the race to it. Zakriski in the corner, feeds off the back of the net for Earhart, wrapped around far side for Grayson. Burnt will save it at the left point. Here's Grayson, got to get a shot away here. He does, he fires one. Craig can't glove it down to rebound, turning and firing with Hoagland. He gets it back, fires one through traffic. That got blockered aside, 10 seconds to go. Up the wall, John Burnt races after it. Zakriski sends it deep. Here's Tremblay at the left circle, fires a drive. That doesn't go on net. The clock's going to hit 0, and that's going to do it. So the Bugs put forth a good effort holding everybody scored. Now Tremblay starts throwing punches, and we've got all heck breaking loose again. And again, I thought cooler heads would prevail here, but this rivalry continues to live up to itself. Tremblay gets thrown down by Talakro now. Hoagland also grabs a hold of somebody. A great effort by the Bugs. They've battled through 2 scoreless periods. They outshot the Brahmas, but just going to come up a little bit short after Lexell scores the only non-empty net goal. The other empty netter coming to make it 2-0. And again, a good season, but Bugs get swept here in the South Division semifinals.
Yeah, just an unfortunate way to end, Zach, and you hate to end admittedly an up and down season that ended on such a good note, ended on the win against Corpus. You hate to see that come to an end like this.
As you mentioned, Bucks finished regular season 7-1 run for them. Swept Corpus Christi, which I think caught everybody by surprise. And then, again, really, just like the first 2 games, we have the same thing in Game 3. They played a bad couple of minutes. Overall, a great game here in Game 3, but they just come up a little bit short with a couple of bad minutes as the Brahmas are going to celebrate their victory. We'll have the handshake line at center, and the Bugs will get a standing ovation as the fans didn't want it to end quite as soon as it did. But, you know, you look back at that one point in January, and it was questionable if the Bucks would even make the playoffs. And they come and they rally late. They get to the playoffs, and while the Brahmas, inspired by Dan Wildfong, the human spirit, but they take the 2-0 victory. Handshake lines all around here at center ice.
Well, Zach, I'm going to be honest, my friend. I hate to see it end like this. Because I'll be honest, and I hate getting emotional like this, but I'll say this. Ever since coming back to the Bucks, the Lone Star Brahmas as a team, I've always wanted to, I'll admit, have kind of had bones in. Don't get me wrong, Corpus too, but not as much as this Brahmas organization. I mean, it's been, as you mentioned, an historic rivalry dating all the way back to the 90s, mid to late 90s, and there's been many instances in the playoffs between these two teams. 2008, the Brahmas, inspired by the newer head coach Dan Wildfong, then newer head coach, I should add, sweeping the Mudbugs. And then, of course, throughout the years, just up and down between these two teams, not only in the remaining times they both had in the Central Hockey League, but also even in the start of the Mudbugs junior hockey era. These two teams have had, of course, the 4 overtime game, the many series these two teams have had, and well, it's a chapter, it's a rivalry I think a lot of people will point to in terms of Southern hockey, whether it's professional or juniors, that they always want to look at and say that's old school hockey, that's old school style of play. But that being said, Zach, I'm going to end this season from my perspective kind of short here. Been a good season, Zach. Finally welcome into Mudbugs hockey. It's an emotion in itself, buddy. I'll tell you that one. With that being said, Zach, thanks for not getting too mad at me at times, because trust me, I know you've had a lot of opportunities to do so, but thanks for letting my emotions sometimes flare and let myself cool down. But most importantly, Zach, thanks for picking up the reins when you did and being a part of the Mudbugs, the voice of the Mudbugs history, including guys like Steve Mears, Travis Huntington, Brandon Walker, guys like that. But I'm going to end it here with a do good, be good, claws up, and go Bugs as the Bugs come to center ice. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Duncan Welker, and y'all have a good one. Claws up, and go Bugs.
Final stick salute of the season. It ends in the South Division semifinals. 2-0 Brahmas on top of the Bugs. We're going to have a quick pregame show on the other side, or a postgame show rather. Back to wrap it up in a moment here on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata & Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata & Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case, or visit them online at defatapi.com.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Welcome back here to Shreveport. The Mudbugs wrap-up is always brought to you by our friends at Nicky's Mexican Restaurant. Don't drink the water, try our margaritas today. The Bugs doing their glass tap salute as they take one final lap around the ice here at George's Pond after their season ends in the South Division semifinals, suffering a series sweep against the Lone Star Brahmas. Zach Grant with you here one final time in the 2025-26 campaign. Let's take a look at our game summary. It was a close battle back and forth for the opening 2 periods. Shots were 7-4 Mudbugs in both the first and the second period. It was scoreless going into the third and final frame before Gustav Lexell, 4 minutes and 57 seconds into the third period, gave the Brahmas a 1-0 lead. And they outshot the Bugs 11-7 in the final frame, with Vladimir Sable coming back with the empty netter at 1:04 of the third. Capano got another assist, and Sable, by the way, continued his hot streak, 7 points. So with that, the Brahmas advance to the South Division Finals. They're going to have to wait and see who they might play. El Paso has a 2-0 series advantage over New Mexico, but they're deadlocked at 2. Late in the second period there, shots are 25-15 in favor of the Ice Wolves, but they find themselves in a battle with El Paso. So that's a look at our out-of-town scoreboard. All in all, the Mudbugs finish 30, 25, 3, and 6. They finish off the regular season with a great run, 7-1, but eventually met the Lone Star Brahmas coming off the bye, and they held on and had the Mudbugs number for both games. And Lone Star tonight, a good battle for the Bugs, but coming up just a little bit short against the Brahmas. With that, Lone Star gets win number 45 on the season, 45-12, 1-4. They continue their quest for the Robertson Cup. We wish them the best of luck. And Dan Wildfong and his family, hope they send our condolences on behalf of the entire organization, and hope that he can get back behind the bench soon for the Brahmas as they continue their playoff run against either New Mexico or El Paso. Ryan looking for the series sweep. We'll see how things shake out, but that'll be after we get off the air here tonight, so you'll have to do a little bit of research on yourself. So can't wait for next season. We'll see you guys out here. If you haven't gotten your season tickets now, you've got a few more days before the deadline, so be sure to lock those back in for 2026 and 2027. We hope to see you around. On behalf of the entire organization, Duncan Welker, I'm Zach Grant saying so long, good night, and good hockey for the final time here this season. The Mudbugs fall to the Brahmas 2-0 in Game 3 of the